NPP candidate Kwame Asumadu won, but of course, you and I are privy to results from the other side. They are not, so they are jubilating. When you are Japan, I didn't try.
It's a party member, and Kunimdia and Edia. I Asumadu. Waba Cope, and Kunimdiano. I need that many Jamolo Swakra, many Giancasa.
I didn't Emma, why I say when you just said, or we are the Anquana.
I did baby, say, I want to show no wafa. It's ya the boka, I had the anua. Ye Jidia, what did you say? Wafa baby.
I said, a banana, Danny.
And to me, Nanessa. And to me, and Nanessa. Adania, and Yajumampo, and Nanenko babia.
You catch on with a begenity for this candidate near 20 amo, and a bemu pepe no. Won't mean for candidate beer and 2 or a Juma Wire constituency. Your president, John Dramani Mahama Baha Okra, who will be Tino. And this is for next for a small for candidate Bahabu. Akwatia no go area, yet to Abano, and they share. And there's Kumi, baby, other be I know who said, we know, but then call court, and then you'll be on 4,000. 4,000 almost some fan court to be Yadamasi.
I know why, Mr. Macassa, me the Frank, Abu Bonsra, and I am a DJ Cassipa, sir, by election, Kosu, na MPP 4, under, sir, Yatuaba. Previous way, no, about 2,000 difference. Still, so no. Omachian Skumia bro, so say, still, any power of parliament. No, a home Kosuna or home the letter free high court. Idea ba. Now, who create coup and depa. Oh, 21 days here, court, a pluma, and a Skumino. And if you want to tell Flimu, and you know, that's here to a banana, near Kai or soon, and I say a kindness to me. Yet to a banana, Solomon, assume do, and your sadness, Kumi and you, Yam, baby, Akwatia, Krasini, the Adina, and to me, Frank, Abby. Hey, Obia, number 1.
All right, thank you very much. So, yes, the stories are no different from each other. I'm told that, of course, oh, yes. You are live on GH1 TV. Your supporters are jubilating. It's not too early.
Well, I don't think it's too early. We are getting the results from all the other police stations. And as you know, here at Presby, we won massively. We thought it was going to be much closer. So we are happy with the results so far, and I think they have every right to jubilate.
Well,
they are jubilating for the results here.
Yeah, that's very important because I've seen the results from the Wenchi enclave. You are winning, right? There are others who also monitor the results previously and say that NDC is increasing its numbers and reducing the margin in certain polling stations. When you go to Akwatia and Co, the NDC is also winning with some margins. But of course, the results will all come together. So it's good that you are cautiously optimistic, but the supporters are not privy to the other figures as you privy to. Will you be surprised if things change, things don't go your way?
I would not be surprised. I'm also monitoring the results from the other areas, and we know we're going to win. Obviously, the jubilation taking place pertains to the results here at Presby, but they are also listening to results from the other areas. Your media houses are reporting all over, so that's also the cause of the jubilation. Obviously, it's been a tense day. Obviously, because of the death of Ernest, people are hoping that would win and win massively for the memory of Ernest. So that's part of the jubilation. Can talk to
how difficult was it for you to canvass for vote, move every nooks and cranny of the constituency in trying to convince them that they should still keep faith with your party even though you are in opposition? How difficult was it?
First, I would like to congratulate the Akwatia constituency executives. They did a very, very good job. They chose the right candidate. I think they chose a candidate who cut across all our divisions. And for the first time, even within the MPP, everybody accepted Solomon. Secondly, Solomon not only cuts across the MPP divide, he also cuts across the NDC because he employs a lot of people here. He's a philanthropist and he's touched the hearts of many people. He did not start as a politician. He was just a businessman doing his work, And as that, people see him as genuine. He's not a politician who does it because he wants the votes. He was pulled into it. In fact, he had to be convinced to accept this position. And I think for that, our constituency executives here, the regional executives, and our past senior executive, like Chairman Kusi, who is standing next to me, need to be applauded. That is.
It's the Indomitable Hero Park promo. The goal is to win a trip to Disneyland Paris. We all have 8 comic books, right?
I have won a PS5 in the weekly draw by entering the code through the USSD. I won a TV last week and that is so happy. I just entered my 8 code to indomigana.com. I cannot wait to win my bicycle.
I really hope I'll win my tablet. Now, what we all need is the final comic book to enter the grand lucky draw to go to Disneyland Paris. The hunt starts now. Allez! Buy Indomie Hero Packs. Collect all 9 comic books to enter the grand draw and win amazing prizes, including a trip to Disneyland Paris in the Indomitable Hero Pack promo.
It means we are winning. Whenever we get about 30-35% in Akwatia, it means that we are winning. And the results that I'm hearing from Akwatia is very close, very close. So we have Wenchi, back. We have Apramine, Topramine, and Gunasi. Kusi also is with us. So definitely we are winning this election.
How challenging was the issue of turnout? Were you encouraged? Because earlier in the morning here in Wenchi, some of your party leaders were not so excited about the turnout, but subsequently it picked up. Are you encouraged by the turnout?
Yes, I'm very, very encouraged. You know, by-elections are supposed to be very low turnout, but for this result that I'm hearing now, it's okay. It's very okay with us. Yes, it's very okay.
That's Chairman Kusi, the constituency, Akwatia constituency chairman. So, Sewa, all is almost said and done. I think the very last polling station, which is outstanding, is the one here. And of course, we have the EC officials crossing the T's and dotting the I's. And after it's all said and done, and that will be Press VGHS Wenchi polling station 1, polling station E. There were a number of them here. There's a cluster of polling stations, a number of them here. That's the only one outstanding. The others have already concluded with sorting, counting, and everything. The pink sheets have been signed, sealed, and then vehicle in the company of the police personnel moved to the collation center, where we are all now headed to because we've had enough of the polling station results. Now is the time for the calculation to start, for the collation to start at the collation center, where each result from each of the 119 polling stations will be inputted into a system, projected on the screen. After it's all said and done, whoever becomes the MP for Akwatia will be made known by the EC officially. But of course, I'm sure in the next 30 minutes or so, if they don't already know, the political parties are aware as to whether they are winning or they are losing, or as to whether they have lost or they have won. What might be outstanding will be what the exact margin is, the exact percentage of victory or loss is. Sewa, back to you in the studio.
Ibrahim, thank you very much, and we certainly will come back to you when, all of this is getting closer, because people are eager. I keep getting messages, how's it looking, who is winning?
Yes.
And I'm telling them it's still very early, because sorting is still ongoing in some of the polling stations, even though counting has been done in other polling stations. I'm here with Bernice Abubedi-Lansa and Michael Donyina-Mensah. He's Executive Director for the Center for Public Opinion and Awareness. Bernice, you two were having a conversation about
development. We're talking about development and voting patterns, and why as a country with a democracy like ours. And you travel across Africa, and there's just one thing Ghana is known for: democracy and peace. Unfortunately, we seem to be chipping at the gains gradually, unfortunately. Right. You spoke about the fact that you think that the citizens must accept the blame for where we are and not fighting or demanding enough of our leaders. But why do you think it is so? Okay. Why do you think, is it the case that the citizens don't know? Or is it the case that the citizens are not courageous enough to demand what we deserve?
All right, that's a loaded question, but I'll start with the peace part. You know, just last week, is it the Global Peace Index was released, and Ghana fell off by
6 points.
Yeah, 6 points. And I must tell you that, you know, the Global Peace Index is scored based on 23 criteria and 3 main pillars. And one of the pillars is safety and security. So some of these issues that we're having with by-elections, especially the disturbances, they all feed into this index. So the little bits that we do in this country can affect us in the long run. And you see, this Global Peace Index, we might think it is just a scoring. But I said it earlier on today, if there's a businessman in the US who wants to invest in an African country, they are looking for countries that have, you know, peace, and then they see that Ghana, we are, you know, going down the scale in terms of peace. I don't think they will consider, you know, coming to invest here. So it has far-reaching implications. But coming to your point regarding the citizens, I feel that a lot of people don't properly understand the power that they will in this democratic system. We've seen situations where it looks like the politicians, they only come to serve us every 4 years. Election year, they'll come and serve us, and the rest of the period, we serve them. And, you know, politics has been, you know, known to be a field where any politician is supposed to be affluent and be resourceful and have money, and, you know, people want to go into politics because they think there's money there, and people invest so much in politics. I was saying it today that the reason why our politics or elections are very chaotic is that there's so much to gain when you win, and there's so much to lose when you lose, because people invest so much in it that they are ready to even risk lives or kill to be able to win elections. So I'm just saying that we, the citizens, don't understand that in a democracy, we have the decision to decide who rules us or who we send to be able to go and represent us. And after we vote, our work does not end there. Throughout the whole period, we have to direct how affairs are run. But in our situation, we don't have that. But I also blame education.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about the NCC, Sewa, and how over the years, once again, the NCC is gradually becoming another institution that's just sitting in Accra. I know, yeah, respectfully, I know that there are challenges.
You know, Ben, unfortunately, I don't buy that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do not buy that every time there are challenges, and so they are unable to do their work effectively. It doesn't sit well with me. If you are unable to resource that office or that institution, you really have no business then appointing people to head it.
Right.
And paying them every month.
Yeah, but it's in the interest of the politician, isn't it, to keep the citizenry where we are. And so once again, it comes back to us to demand that the NCC should do its job, right?
You know, social media, I was saying, how come in this modern dispensation, you cannot do any communication, effective communication without social media? Ask me, the NCC, do you even see any you know, communication or anything from their social
activations and stuff like that?
Michael has a point. I am a big advocate for social media because a lot of things happen on social media these days. You know, you have a lot more young people finding news and even being more. We've evolved so much, and so the NCC really, you know, cannot give us this, for the ones for better word, excuse that they are under-resourced, so they are unable to do some of these things. There's social media. Even though majority or not everyone is on social media, why don't you start by capturing a car? Take advantage of it. Because look at where we were, Benis, in 2020 elections, 2024. The interest of the youth in the just ended election on social media is something I've never seen. People were interested, they sat down, they listened, they took pen and paper, wrote down results. I have never seen a thing like that. And it's all because of social media.
Right.
If some sort of education was ongoing by the NCC on the same social media, we'll see a very big difference.
Right. Yeah, right.
We're waiting for, I am personally waiting for someone who will be very innovative with that. Because this isn't rocket science, right?
It is not. And you know,
sorry, not to cut you, Michael, but you know the Constitutional Review Committee, in meeting, you know, all the various stakeholders across the board, invited persons who are influencers on social media.
Right.
Because that's how important it is to pick their thoughts, what people are saying.
Right.
And I wasn't there. I got invited, I couldn't make it. But I know a friend of mine told me that he got there. He saw Twitter influencers, saw Instagram influencers there. Because the world right now is really largely run on social. Like every presidents are tweeting, making announcements on social
especially
media.
Donald Trump.
Exactly.
It's just popularized. Presidents
now even traditional media like radio and TV has to even leverage on social media to really even thrive or be more prominent. So
that's true.
You cannot even do without social media. So one of the areas I keep thinking, so NCC, you should have some of the most followed social media handles in the country if you were really serious. We should see ads that are sponsored by NCC on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, educating young people, educating Ghanaians about their civic rights, about what they can. None of that. So we
okay,
just
Michael, please hold on for me. We have to go back to Akwatia. My colleague Hanan is standing by. Hello, Hanan.
Hello, Sewa. The siren you heard behind me are personnel of the Ghana Police Service who have been patrolling the area since the election started at 7 a.m. And there seems to be a little blockade here. Election materials that are coming all the way from Takrasi, Wenchi, and Kusi and other areas are having some difficulty navigating through this high street, that is the Budia High Street. So you see a police officer providing traffic management to ensure that these police vehicles conveying the ballot boxes and party agents to the collation center are able to do so with ease. And so some of them are stationed down there, ensuring that goes. So vehicles that are also coming from the Akwatia main township.
The Nido Obatampa promo is back again. Yes, here's your chance to win a fully paid family getaway in Nido's Obatampa More promo. Look inside your Nido 23-gram promo sachet for a code. Dial *380*11# on your phone's keypad and follow the prompts to win exciting prizes at Depashimu. Nido, your love, their future. This advert is FDA approved. This promo is regulated on the Caritas Lottery platform. T's and C's apply.
Those that are transporting the election materials to the collation center are able to do so with ease. So even though that is happening, as that happens, you have quite a number of the youth in this constituency or in this area who are also on the street watching what is happening. In fact, some of them were earlier jubilating, and some of them are in white, jubilating that their candidate has actually won the election. So let me engage a few of them and find out how the mood is over here. Jubilating. Now, other than that, jubilating abra election no, your free results no.
Oh, me party, I'm a person winning. Me who say, Cecilia, no lady, and Cecilia, I am a dynamic jubilating.
So that is the chant over there. It appears they are excited about the situation. So that is why they are all excited. So Sewa, that is what is happening. Supporters of the MPP candidate Solomon Owusu, some of them are also making their way to the collation center, but the police have barricaded the area to ensure that unauthorized people do not make their way to the center. Branaminu Nkasa, okay, Mame, Adana Usu, Ujubileti says, Bra results no dear, or Munyam friend.
Yet in block it. Never more say what they are say. They are Casasiable. They are can't see a passenger. Any banana, Yano. To offer any Pamay, Namuquasum Jemu, Pepe, and one. Well,
Omo buye ni bambo yesuro. Omo timanya mo hwe. Na before na ya wie na ya ba no mo se ya chi ni baba ko. Send 70.
Yo, so basically, that's what's happening there. He's been freed.
Okay, now mama also day tana ho katre.
Let me can say, oh one no try am ha. 1 month nie, o ti maye kwa juma. Maye kunu munya juma. O no maye sika didie. E jo wa wini.
Okay, so these are supporters of Kwame Esumedu. Sewa, like I was reporting earlier, now the traffic situation is easing down because the police came to block the main intersection here at Buedia, and it means that unauthorized vehicles, especially those who are not carrying election materials, will not be able to have their way here, and that is why the traffic is flowing. So still supporters of now lawyer Beidu are also on the streets jubilating, and that is the signage of the national chairman of the NDC that they are doing at the moment as they jubilate. Now, mama, I don't know also when you are just Abani de say yambo we ya there now. Okay, mama, now also one a winning.
Me say, Salomo Asumadu
All right, so the excitement is still ongoing here on the Buedia High Street as the youths are up in their numbers on the streets, jubilating that their favorite candidate, that is the MPP Solomon Asumedu, would carry the day. Like I indicated, still traffic over here as the election materials are being transported, and others who are expected to play some important roles at the coalition center are also making their way here. Now, some MPP supporters are here, and the jubilation is just ongoing. Quite an excitement for them, even though the official declaration is yet to be made. So they are chanting.
Well, so that was our colleague Hanan there, engaging some of the constituents at the Woodrow Presby School area.
It's getting interesting. So I mean, every side says they've won, but we know the constitutionally mandated body that should declare the results is the Electoral Commission. And so we heard IB telling us earlier that they were heading to the collation center where they were going to consolidate all the results that had been counted at the polling stations. And so expect to see them coming. We are giving you provisional results right now on our screens as we have received them from the presiding officers at the various polling stations. These are provisional results, and we are showing you the figures out of the total 119 polling stations there are in the constituency. And so, like Sawa said, it's early days yet. Anything can happen depending on where the flow is coming from. We know that in the Wenchi area, the MPP seems to be very dominant. In the Akwatia area, the NDC seems to be very dominant. So we'll see how the figures balance, and eventually the picture will be painted. But we need to take you back to Ibrahim Al-Hassan, who is still on the ground.
The same policeman
Gidi. Osemi mfoka. Omuni mi gidi. Minye bibia ose omochemi akwaba kwa kan pepper spray ko digumi ko on the store. Mi nguzi shishimi. E na de ekita no me kanina odi achawo. Ni odi ayemesa. Minye bibia yo. Okita na de chebi odi ahwema pampe okita bufu ya ha. Odi tete amenye bibia njise ne wa de sam ko bonu dua. My bonnet and I'm in your bonnet. And I'm going to go on my arrest and go bonnet. Men formal on our bonnet. It's a banner bomb there. Never bonnet. It's a money arrest me bonnet. Na many of my yegi no omo doesn't no better omo try some mathematical means meaning the reason why am I entia omo na me e ko to me no omo strike kakla entia ma omo de me to for mo me am show am me na dey I our car no me am show driver ni na me am show our car inside no me nya bibia o car na hu na ya me fe na me ko hwe etimi de am bezo ya arrest me bonu bia driver ni me nya ni bibia over minimum no bi ofri o me bi ofri ba me de ni me fri wanchi me nya ni bonu bia ana wa bo me inform no me nya ni minti no etim bezo man ya arrest me bonu bia you fancha no da me fancha because me nya ni bibia e ras no be nya o hwe na fom na wanti na obonu bia eto no e police ni meet no it me bonu bia eto man nya arrest me bonu bia na no me de me bibia yin la e de obonu me bonu de me bibia yin la tinia wa ya me no ya me because me nya na hwe it me bonu de onu atwika so de kan kwa hwe no owu man na busu afo wa asema metimi aka
well so that is the gentleman body mama
yeah.
Well, Ibrahim Al-Hassan there engaging some constituents in Akwatia. And just like Bernice said a while ago, we are getting some provisional results, but the constitutionally mandated body to declare the results is the Electoral Commission. And it appears that we are inching closer to that moment when the EC will let us know who has won the Akwatia seat. Michael, your observations so far?
I'll take you back from the morning.
Okay.
And I said something here. This election probably would have gone very well without much incidents until that skirmish earlier on the day. And I'm still calling on the IGP. If you sent 5,000 men to Akwatia and then there was an incident and you were not able to even effect an arrest by the end of the day, what is the use of the 5,000 men you sent in Akwatia? And I'm talking about the altercation that happened between the vice chairman of the NDC. I mean, it was practically an assault. And it happened right in front of the police. And I heard that the MPP vice chair said he had gone to report to the police. I don't even know what that is about because the thing happened right in front of the police. If a crime is happening right in front of you, you accost the perpetrator. What is about going to even report to the police?
Michael, please hold on for me. Let's go to our Eastern Regional Correspondent, Kojo Ansah, who is at the MPP's constituency office.
Individuals who are police officers. To him, he would not let this go. He's going to rain curses on them. Of course, the traditional way he mentions. Still coming to you from Wenchi, which has many of the constituents jubilating that the MPP candidate has won, even though all the results have not been tabulated yet. Back to you in the studio.
Yes, Bernice. So that was actually IB and not Kojo Ansah, as we had mentioned earlier.
Stationed at the MPP's constituency office in Akwatia, and I'm sure he has a lot to report from there. But Michael was sharing with us his thoughts about that unfortunate incident that happened between two vice chairmen of the NDC and the NPP. And you think that the NPP's vice chairman shouldn't have any worry to go and report this incident because it happened right in front of police officers and an arrest should have been effected.
You see, yes, the reason why I'm saying...
At Gaddis Reflection Limited, beauty meets confidence. We bring you the very best in cosmetics and skincare with trusted brands designed for your everyday glow. For hair that shines with strength and beauty, choose Herlax and Silis. And for radiant skin, our complete skincare line, lotions, oils, soaps and shower gels will nourish, protect and brighten. For bulk purchases, contact us today on 0302 237 391. Gaddis Reflection Limited. Your beauty, your glow, your reflection.
Had no business being present there who caused the problems. And CI 127 really stipulates how elections should be held at the polling station and who is allowed to be at the polling station during voting.
Right.
I saw an interview earlier on it was with the MPP vice president and vice chairman, and he was with his entourage. And after the interview, he said he was going to monitor the voting at the polling station, and he had this entourage of people right behind him. Meanwhile, the law says that if you are not accredited, you shouldn't be there. So I think that politicians, look, the 5,000 policemen who went to Akwatia, who did they go there for? They didn't go there because of the people of Akwatia or the inhabitants. They didn't go there because of them, because if you leave them alone, they could have voted peacefully. They went there because of the politicians and their hooligans. They are those who cause the problems. And then here's the case, an incident is happening right before the police, and till now we've not heard anything from them. I'm only hoping that by the end of the day or by tomorrow morning, the police will release a statement, as they usually do, letting us know what actions they've taken so far about that, because this should be used to set an example. If not, then I'll say that our institutions really have no balls and they're failing us.
If Ablekuma North is anything to go by, Sewa, I'm not confident of seeing anything like that in the next 24 hours, because even with video evidence of persons who fomented trouble at Ablekuma North splashed all over social media, it took the police quite some time to even pick up these people or even release a statement to that effect.
I agree, and even, more disheartening is the outcome of everything. That, these persons were put before court and they were just fined 6,000 Ghana cedis. I mean, these are things that the politicians, who many believe are behind it, can easily pay without having to lose anything. Let's go back to the Eastern Regional correspondent, Kojo Ansah, because we have to really talk about this. Kojo Ansah, thank you very much. Well, what have you got?
Well, so as we speak, we can hear the noise behind me. I'm at the NPP office in Akwatia here, where a number of supporters of the NPP have converged, celebrating or jubilating that indeed they've won the election, considering the numbers or the votes that are coming from the various polling stations. So they've been here since the results started trickling in. And I mean, as you can see from from behind, most of them are here, but a number of them have moved to the collation center, are going to monitor what is going to happen, even though they are not going to have access, because the police have mounted barricades right from the junction. Before you even move to the collation center itself, without accreditation, you can't even enter the perimeters of the collation center. So they're just going to stand by the roadside to get results as the collation goes on. However, the constituency office here, most of them have converged. They believe that they've won because they are just opposing the vote that they had in 2024 election, and the vote that just came in. They believe that they have won the election. But when you go to the other side of the NDC, they are equally jubilating. They believe that they have, reduced the vote margin of the NPP in their stronghold, and they have appreciated in their stronghold, in their NDC stronghold. So the NDC supporters are also jubilating that they have won this particular election. So now you can see the police personnel moving. Some of them have been stationed here, as it were, to also provide security for those who are the party office, just so there's no, altercation or violence here at the NPP's party office.
All right, Kojo, thank you. But what is the mood there? Because we are picking very different vibes on social media. What are they saying? NDC says they're winning. MPP says they're winning. What are these people telling you?
Well, so essentially, this information coming from, their executives or their leaders. That for them, they believe that the numbers are good and they are winning. So they have every right to jubilate. And so that's the more reason why they are jubilating. But let me speak to some of them. This woman has been here for a while, and I would like to speak to her to ask her, what they are picking from their leaders' reason they are jubilating. Patrol, Yanokasa Kana, Yembisao, Nentia, what Bensa, I will say. Now, Yembisao said, Abena or a dentina, Oba Bembe Rebesa, and then I'm opening for Kachamo.
Oh, you are anything. I am King Solomon. I could pay no size. I'm not the canoe. And said, get your 2 man in this time.
Numbers never wedding kunim.
Yes, super. You did your part. Did you just see 1 day? You couldn't want to be quite dead to my everything, man. I don't want them. To man, the animal tangle and senti. They want to and say, I want this. You are to your baby.
Okay. When you say Galamsey illegal, it took us a Solomon, Eddie Galamsey, about Galamsey, because I illegal. Okay. All right. So you heard from one of the supporters who is also here, and that is the reason. I mean, she believes that the parliamentary candidates of the MPP, if he wins, he is going to ensure that the people or the supporters or the people here, they will continue to engage in Galamsey, as she put it. But then that is her view. A lot more supporters are here, and as I said, some of them have also moved to the coalition center. As to whether they will get access, that is another story.
Thank you very much. Kojo Ansah is our Eastern Regional Correspondent, speaking to some party supporters at the party headquarters in Akwatia. Back here in the studio, there's Michael Donyina Mensah. He's the Executive Director for the Center for Public Opinion and Awareness. And, of course, my colleague Ben is Abubakar Lansa. Michael.
So we can see that, well, people are jubilating both sides. But as we said, this election, as I said earlier on, tips towards the favor of the NDC. And I already stated my reservations towards certain approaches, but definitely the NDC will likely take it because, of course, earlier on you're talking about the issue with, is it Collins Dowda?
Yes.
And yes, I mean, that was a threat on them. So why wouldn't they vote for the NDC? Because he's threatening them that, look, if you don't vote for the NDC, your development will not be forthcoming.
But the question also is, wouldn't people have already decided before the election day who they were going to vote for? Will Collins Dowda's pronouncements, though unfortunate, on the election day make any difference?
Yes, it can. Even on your way to vote, it can change. Even at the polling station, if somebody... Look, I was saying that...
Greases your palm very well. You can change your mind, isn't it?
Yes, and I was even saying that, those big wigs who roam from polling station to... It can form some form of psychological inducement. So that's why... So the voting, it can change at any time. On your way, if somebody meets you and gives you some money, hey, vote for you, it can change at any point in time.
Interesting. Everything will tell in about an hour's time, I'm sure, because as IB tells us, the collation is happening now at the at the Constituency Collation Center, and very soon we should be receiving some official results from the EC and possibly a final declaration on who has exactly won. But Sewa, you are monitoring social media. There's a lot happening there.
Yes, there's so much
happening. We are picking some
soon.
signals from some key personalities as well.
I am telling you, and our producers are trying to get Musa Dankwa, who was on the show earlier today, by the way, to pick his thoughts on what he's speaking from the grounds. But it really isn't in my place yet to say what people are saying. Exactly. But We'll be getting some comments on social media very shortly. I'll be reading some of them on air. But Benis, what Michael was talking about, remember when Musa Dankwa released this poll which said that the NDC was going to get some 53% or so, it was based largely on development.
Okay.
Right? Those were the reasons why the people said they were going to vote for the NDC. So I'm not surprised if a member of the NDC
goes to
not
reinforce,
just any member, someone like Collins Dowda comes to say that if you don't vote for the NDC, there will be no development, and these are people who are yearning for development, I will not be surprised at all that it will change the minds of many, right? And I don't know, Michael, do you think, because I remember the day Musa Dankwa released that poll, I had an interview with him here on the morning show and asked him between then and now if anything substantial could change, to tilt it in the favor of the NPP. And he said he wasn't sure that anything substantial could happen. But you never know. But he was still very sure that nothing substantial could happen. Do you think that the NPP could have done something about it?
You see, the storm was really very heavy for the NPP. They are just coming out of a very heavy defeat. And as I was saying, the NDC over the past 8 months also largely has been able to conduct its affairs very well. Largely they've escaped scandals up to this stage because scandals can actually rock. Coming down, so they have a lot to be able to campaign with. And what for me was a problem was the fact that this place was a Galamsey area, and the conversation around Galamsey I wasn't really feeling that in the campaign. So I am just going to see how the fortunes of Akwatia is going to change by any victory for the NDC, especially in the area of Galamsey.
Interesting. So, like I said, it's 48 minutes after 6. Voting ended at 5 o'clock. I was expecting, this is just Akwatia. This is not a national election. By 7 o'clock, it should be done and dusted, right? And we're talking about employing technology as well in our elections. And sometimes opportunities like this make you wonder whether we are really cut for, using technology as a means to facilitate our election process and make it a bit more transparent, efficient, and get it done and dusted early.
The parties, I believe by this time they should know their fate. I strongly believe that, and we are only waiting on the EC to make
it official.
Yeah, and the EC always operates at a snail pace, so.
But that's problematic.
It is, yes, I was coming. So there is something that they have to watch, because when they do that, it can create certain problems, especially in future elections. So whatever the parties do to be able to get these things, I think the EC can also,
What happens is that they have forced the parties to set up their own coalition centers, and due to the same slow nature of the EC, that's why we saw Dr. Bawumia in the 2024 elections having to concede, even when the EC had not officially declared the NDC as the winner. I really don't know because like you said, Benis, it's very worrying that for just one constituency, it's almost 7 o'clock and we don't know what's going on. And parties are having to have their, members, regional ministers, write on social media, declare that they are winners, prepare for another by-election in New Job. You remember Chibefi, who said that he was going to resign if the NDC wins Akwatia. All these things leaves, and then the problem comes in when their factions are being told that we have won.
Exactly.
And then the EC comes out to say something to the contrary, then we're going to have problems. At this time, at 7 o'clock for one constituency, I don't know.
And I'm happy you mentioned that, because what's likely going to happen with all these people jubilating on the streets of Akwatia saying that they have won And like Sewa said, imagine that someone is so confident that they had won, and the EC comes and say, no, you didn't win. Then questions of doubt, questions of, was there any manipulation? Did the governing party have an upper hand? That is, if it goes in the side of the NDC. And then if the NDC also says that, no, we won, and the EC declares otherwise, then you have, it's like a recipe for chaos.
Yeah, you know, in this modern world, we see the EC cutting, how do you call it? Is it collating sheets in boxes by road?
Yeah.
You know, to another collation center. Everything is so manual, and I'm just saying, what we can, there's technology to be able to leverage on to be able to get these things done at a faster pace.
If I get what you're saying, then if we are not at the point where we can fully roll out a digitized system, maybe we can do a hybrid. Because now you're talking about the movement, and I'm just remembering what Hanan showed us when the police had to intervene because there was a lot of traffic. Even vehicles coming from the outskirts of Akwatia moving into the collation center couldn't have thoroughfare, so the police had to try and come in and create that opportunity for them. Could we have said, for example, like we did during the national elections, where there was faxing done from the regional centers, to say that, okay, the polling stations, when you are done, just fax the results, or probably put it on a WhatsApp platform, because that happened during the national elections, remember? The EC created a WhatsApp platform. Should we be looking at having at least a hybrid system for now before we can roll out a fully digitized one?
Dennis, that technology exists. You know, in the past, if you have a bank account and you have multiple signatories on a check, they have to sign and things. Now, there's technology where even if there are multiple signatories, when they issue the payment, the multiple signatories can even be in different locations, and then they approve it. So even if the coalition center, the pin sheet or whatever report sheet is scanned and put in a system, then each party representative who has the login to be able to enter the system will look at it and see if it truly represents what they have in hand or what their agent is telling them. You just issue your approval. Like, things can really be done. I am saying that going into the future, some of these manual processes have actually tend to be where the problems come from. We've seen situations where in the process of transporting ballot boxes, people are attacked, even ballot boxes are switched and things like that happen. So going forward, we can't continue to do things this way. That is what I'm saying. So the EC should be considering to really improve on this technology so that some of these things can be put away, and it will improve the quality of our elections and also reduce the tensions that comes with the elections.
Well, so our men are still on the ground. Hanan, IB, and Kojo Ansa all monitoring the situation for us. If you just joined us, we are bringing you the Akwatia by-election, unfortunately premised on the death of the sitting MP, Ernest Kumi. May his soul rest in peace. There are those who argued that there should have been a ride in the park for the NPP. Possibly the NDC should have said, well, just like the NPP promised to do for Tamale Central. There are those who argue that the NDC should have. But the NDC argue, we heard from Fifi Kwete earlier in the day, who is the General Secretary of the party, saying that it is not our decision to make. It is the decision of the people of Akwatia. It's a democratic system. If they think that they would not vote for a candidate, it's in their place. If they think that they would vote for your candidate, it is their choice to make. So we cannot take away the right from them because, unfortunately, Ernest Kumi passed. I don't know what you make of that. There are those who are also talking about a possible, in fact, Fifi Kwete hinted at that, well, if the Constitution says, for example, if a certain MP dies, then the party which he represented should just feel. So it comes back to the Constitution, doesn't it?
Yes, I am of that school of thought. That when we vote and then we have the MPs, when you lose an MP, the party replaces that MP. Mm-hmm. And for two reasons. One of the reasons is the fact that most of the political problems that we face, the violence and everything that we face in this country come from by-elections. So it looks like by-elections are beginning to be a nuisance in our democratic space. Okay. So that is one reason. The other reason is that, you remember in the past regime where we had a split parliament, right? Mm-hmm. So in a case where a by-election is now going to switch which side is going to be majority, which side is going to be minority, it really complicates a lot of things for us. So I believe that that particular approach will really be helpful, so that when you set out and you have your numbers through to the end. I think I personally just support that.
Right.
Well, I unfortunately, Musa Dankwa's predictions are appearing to, be true, especially on the sympathy votes one, because from the results that we have received so far, even from the provisional results for the 21 out of 119 polling stations, the NDC appears to be leading. But please, these are provisional results, and very shortly we'll take you back to Akwatia, where our colleagues are on the ground, and we'll take you to the EC's office for an official declaration of the results. But this is going to be, this is our 34th by-election held in this country. Out of that, the NPP has won 17, the NDC has won 15, CPP won 1. So what is going to happen in Tamale Central will be the 35th. But let's talk about what this means if it goes either ways for the party. Many have argued that, because I listened to an interview where the General Secretary was asked of the NDC that you have the majority in Parliament. In fact, you don't have just the majority, you have 2/3 of the numbers in Parliament. Why don't you just leave this one for the NPP so they can console themselves with it, for the want of a better word, especially because of how the sitting MP passed. And, from the response that I heard, it appears it's more of trying to send a message, not because they desperately need the numbers, but for the NDC, if they're able to win this seat, it means that they're still popular with the people. They're still enjoying the goodwill. And correct me if I'm wrong, Michael. It means that people still love them. People still find all the things that they said they were going to do, or the things that they have done so far, very good. So they want to keep them, show them that they still love them. If the MPP wins, it means that they are telling the people they're capable of winning an election again. And also, the NDC is becoming less popular, because if you are in power, and you are able to lose a seat like that, it means that the people do not find your party attractive anymore. Yeah. Do you share the same view?
So that's the reason why you saw that the conversations around these by-elections really was not centered on the people of Akwatia. If you observe, we didn't hear much about how the individuals who are standing for the election are going to address the problems of Akwatia, which one of them mainly being the Galamsey. And it is because the parties really have an other interest in this particular election. You see, if the NPP should win this election, they will go to town with it. They are going to make a lot of noise with it, and they are going to gain a lot of mileage from that. Right. So, and if the NDC should also win it, it has some perks that it comes to them. So that's the reason why they are all at loggerheads, trying at all costs to make sure that they win this particular seat. So yeah, you're right. It's much more like a popularity control.
Out of the number of constituencies, so expect it to keep changing until we get to the point where it is statistically impossible for it to change or for it to make any difference. Then we can make a projection and project one candidate to be the winner. Until we get to that point, we need to keep waiting for the results that are coming in slowly. But Sewa was talking about by-elections and the number of by-elections we've had in the country, and you were before then talking about the Constitution and why we need to relook at this whole process. I think another element beyond the potential conflict when there are by-elections of this nature, there's also the cost factor. Because just imagine how much it costs the state to take 5,000 policemen.
Right.
They're going to be fed, some of them are going to be housed, camped, even transporting themselves there. You even talk about logistics from the Electoral Commission as well. So there's a cost element to all of this as well.
Yes, so that was exactly what I was saying, because we run a multi-party democracy. So our democracy is not really about individuals. It's about the party. And that's why when you even go to Parliament, when you resign from a party, they are able to find a way to kick you out of Parliament. So if our democracy is a multi-party democracy, then I see no reason why such a proposal really does not make sense, because the party has a representative and they lost. It's just like a game of football. You have your team and you are playing, you have your whole plan and structure, and then you lose a player or a player falls out. I mean, it makes sense to replace that player to be able to continue the plans. For example, if the MP who fell off really had some plans that were in the pipeline for the constituency, I think that once he's from MPP, another MPP replacement might be in a good place to continue with the plans that he had, so that there's some form of continuity. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Than to bring a whole new person who will probably come with their own plan. So this is something that I think we should discuss further and see how we can, make some changes.
This also brings to mind the issue of separation of powers. Because I'm just thinking to myself, we all know for sure that the job of MPs is to do legislative work. Development is left for the municipalities and the districts. Now, you are pegging the win of your candidate to possible development in the area. Now, these same MPs will come and sit here and come and complain to us that their constituents are demanding too much of them and that their constituents do not really understand their core job. Also, if my development is tied to an MP, then it means that also the independence of the voter's mind, in terms of saying that I'm a free-thinking person, I like this person's candidate for presidency, but I don't like their candidate for parliament, and I think they cannot do the job, and so I'm going to vote a skirt and blouse. But the line that we're towing now, it's as if you want development in your constituency, make sure you are voting for the same MP whose president you're voting for. It's bringing us back to square one, and I don't think it's enhancing our democracy. Do you agree?
Yeah, I'll condemn it because the former president had made some statements like that in the past.
Made reference to that.
And I think at that time the NDC condemned it. So, I keep saying that Ghana, our politics is like a play, and we have two scripts, one for the opposition and one for the one in power. It depends on who is there. They say the same thing. Regarding this issue about tying development to, I think that MPs over the years, because look, there's been a spillover. When we monetize our politics, the monetization of our politics has actually spilled over to MPs, such that MPs sometimes are blinded about their core mandate. I'll give you an example. If you go to the US, we have a position called the senator, and senators are virtually like MPs and what the senators do is that they have offices within their jurisdictions, and when their community members have issues, when they have, maybe you apply for an immigration benefit and it's delaying, you can write to your senator's office so that they can follow up on it for you. Right. Maybe you've been served in an unjust way, or maybe there's an issue within the community that needs to be addressed. You write to your senator or your MP, you approach your MP about the issue, then they speak up for you. MPs are supposed to be, apart from making laws, they're supposed to be community advocates. But unfortunately, because when they're going to campaign, they try to induce the citizens or the voters with projects and I will do this, I will do that.
Right.
It puts some pressure on them such that when they come into power, they are forced to do things that are not within their mandate. Can you imagine that up till this time, though it's something that has been promised in the past, many MPs don't have offices within their constituencies?
You know, we'll come back to this, okay? But hold on for me. Let's go on Zoom and speak with Eugene Boache. He's a research consultant and analyst with Global Info Analytics. Eugene, thank you very much for your time. I'm sure that you've been monitoring the elections very, very closely. What are your thoughts on what you're seeing so far?
Yes, good evening, and thank you for having me. The little I have to say is, so far we are seeing that the areas that we predicted, or according to the polls, suggested that NPP was going to win. They are winning, and the margins with which they are winning are slimmer as compared to the areas that the NDC candidate is winning in. So let's take, for instance, Takrasi. The NDC candidate is raking up huge numbers as compared to New Wenchi and then even Gwedia East, for instance. So far, I would say that the suggestions that the public opinion or opinion polls made have actually come true. And then we are hoping the true reflection of the people speaks at the end of the day.
Right, and so we have seen that Musa Dankwa himself has been making some statements on social media, and we know that you also have your own mechanisms. We're doing our own work here independently, picking up the results and putting them together so we can make a projection. We have seen other bigwigs of the two main parties make some comments on social media alluding to one thing or the other. But what is the trend showing you from where you sit?
Yeah, so the trend is showing us that the NDC candidate is doing well, as the polls earlier suggested. And yeah, the NDC candidate is doing well. Yeah.
People understand what an exit poll means. I'm asking this because we see that there's a lot of commentary about it on social media. There are people who say that your institution is trying to predict two outcomes in one event, so whichever way it goes, you can take credit for it. But just help understand, once you have this opportunity and platform, the exit poll specifically about people's affiliation to whichever party. Why is it important, and how does it translate into the final results that we are likely going to see?
Yeah. So one thing that people have to understand about the exit poll is we wanted to see, in particular by party affiliations, how the voting patterns were going to be or are going to be. And if we can recall, the exit poll suggested that the MPP candidates had about 52% of voters. And then this is how we structured the exit polls. So when you get to the point where you are asked who you voted for in the elections, you are given the tablets. It's a face-to-face conversation, but then the conversation is recorded on a device. So you will be given the tablets to point or to tap on who you voted for. And that is what was causing a bit of a confusion, because people thought it was different from what the 27th and 28th August polls suggested or made clear. But the exit polls was sort of trying to find voting patterns as per party affiliations. So I think with that, we can understand that if we were looking at or we were pointing out voting patterns as per party affiliations.
Right. So if I get you clearly, what you're saying is that the party affiliations do not necessarily mean that these people voted for that particular party's candidate.
Come again?
the party affiliations exit poll that you posted does not necessarily mean that the people voted for the party's candidate.
I think what will make it clear is that people want to understand whether or not the exit polls we posted made a claim that the initial 27, 28 August polls was different, or things were going to happen differently. We still stand by what we submitted last week, that the NDC candidate was going to win the election. The exit poll was looking at the number of people or the percentage of people who have voted as per their party affiliations. I don't know if that is clear enough.
It's clear enough. It is clear enough. And so thank you for that clarity, because we needed to bring that in. Also because there are people who have questioned the credibility.
Tell us how too much money. What don't want you? Into also I pay.
Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
Telecel, connecting energies.
But you know, I have a question, right?
Right.
So this exit poll, and Eugene, if you're still there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so this exit poll, for instance, says that, and if you just will allow me to bring it up. So the persons who voted per the work that you did, you asked them on what party lines are they voting, right? And they say NPP. So it means that what, 50, if I got that correct, where's this? Okay, so 51% of the people who voted were supporters of the NPP.
Yeah.
And then 44% who voted are supporters of the NDC. How does that correlate? Where's the nexus? So if 51% of the people who have voted so far say they are members of the NPP, are you saying that it does not directly mean that they are voting for the NPP?
We were looking at those who had voted as at the time we're conducting the exit polls. And let me take us back to last week's submission. In the 2,050 respondents that we spoke to, MPP respondents were actually more than the NDC respondents. And by the numbers, MPP respondents were up to 46%, and NDC respondents were 41%. Yet still, we still saw Bernard Beidu coming up tops, right? So if that is anything to go by, I should tell you that even in last week's opinion poll or survey, MPP respondents were more, yet still the NDC candidate was predicted or situated as somebody or the person going to win.
That puts it in proper perspective.
Proper context.
Thank you very much, Eugene Boache. He is a research analyst with Global Info Analytics. Thanks for talking to us, Michael.
So this is really very interesting. You know, it is interesting because, excuse me to say, the MPP. I think that I've not really heard much of the NDC coming out to downplay opinion polls, especially those coming from Musa Dankwa. And the MPP...
All right, hold on for me, Michael. We have to go back to the Eastern region. Our correspondent, Kojo Ansah, has got something for us. Kojo, thank you very much. What have you got?
I am currently at the office of the NDC in Akwatia, where a massive crowd of supporters of the party have converged here, jubilating the party's victory, even though the Electoral Commission has not officially declared their results. But the party says their internal coalition indicates that they have won the election. So supporters of the party have all converged here, and they are jubilating on the street in front of the office of the party in Akwatia constituency here. And they say that indeed they believe that the party was going to win the election because the campaign message of the NDC was premised on development. However, the NPP was campaigning on sympathy basis, and that they know or they knew that the NPP candidate was not competent enough to become the member of parliament. I have some of the supporters of the NDC here to speak to us why they are here in front of the party office jubilating even though the Electoral Commission has not declared the results. And then you see that when you jubilate the results, now the results then by but and then a multiple okay, so I was talking to one other person. Results in my but then I moved to believe, you know, and then I would just be only penny back to Bravo and I so. Oh, the other day, who say, now, I don't know what we will pay for them. I'm a catcher. Oh, you pay for the Omar. Omar catcher was saying when we need. Okay, so I'll get one last person to speak. I don't know. I moved to the paper. I think I'm back to our. And when you go to the go, this is so bad that you can't really know. Oh, your party, people, someone needs to put to our Akwatia. They are very but given to them. You can put to many and yet no party and no party. Okay, I got to be near. I can anybody. I think okay. All right. So you had one other supporter. All right. So essentially, I mean, the supporters are saying that they voted based on the fact that they will get development and that they are happy that their candidate, Bernard Bain, has won this particular election. And that is the indication they are getting from their party executives. So as you can see behind me, the supporters are here. They are not moving an inch. They are waiting for the Electoral Commission to declare the result. They are going to spend the night here to jubilate the win of the party. So I'm coming to you live from the Akwatia Constituency office of the NDC.
Thank you very much. Kojo Ansah is our regional correspondent in the Eastern region there. Members of the NDC jubilating because they are told that they have won the election. Unfortunately, I'm not hearing so much from the NPP's camp this evening. I don't know what's going on, but we are still waiting
that obviously should tell you where this is going and where it's going to end. It's just a direct semblance of what happened during the 2024 elections in December. We were getting views from the NDC coalition room and what was happening there and their projections, but no one up to date. I don't think I ever saw a video of what was happening in the NPP coalition room. You know, it reminds me also of what happened in 2020. In 2020, it was the other way around because the NPP was just throwing the numbers into the public space on social media because they were very confident that they had won. Anything close we saw to that happening in 2024 was when Dennis Miracles Abuaje, flanked by the former Minister of Information and the NPP's Ahiagba, when he was saying that they were confident of winning, but the body language spoke differently. And so while we are listening to what we are being told, we are also reading the body language.
Absolutely.
Because that's also part of communication, isn't it? So you're seeing the demeanor, you're reading the room, and you realize that things aren't going too well for one party or the other. I've just seen some NPP stalwarts and their comments on Facebook. One is saying that, if they were in power, they could have equally also just won the seat. So there's nothing special.
Have they? One thing that I really do not like about this country is that people just make sweeping statements. For instance, in the 2024 election, there was a young man who said that if MPP didn't win, they should cut off his head. And he's walking around free. But that is a bit extreme. But this MP now, who has said that if the NPP does not win, he will resign as an MP. I mean, what are we going to do? We're just going to what? Leave it? Well, the Ashanti region, I've seen a post by the Ashanti regional minister who says that, guys, this is done and dusted. Let's prepare for another by-election in Ujuabin, because nobody forced you to say it. You said you're going to resign.
Yes.
So what happens?
Yeah.
If this was a serious democracy,
he would have resigned,
yes,
right?
This was a serious, because if you go to the advanced countries, they see public office says to be people like very noble people. That's why even when you're a public officer and you even have an, let's say, for example, an extramarital affair, and it has no direct bearing even on your duties and
you're still made to resign.
Some even resign because they see as a public officer in control of a community or public resources, you have to show the highest level of integrity. So if this MP says this, and at the end of the day, he does not,
well,
at least an apology should come in.
Yeah, but you see, like you're saying, and again, we have to say that we are reading the room. We haven't yet received official figures from the Electoral Commission. And if the Electoral Commission is watching, with what is happening, this should engineer a certain mechanism that allows you to do this faster than we are experiencing now, because it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good on the EC, because you have all these personalities, and this is a regional minister, and we've seen other stalwarts of the party making comments on social media.
In fact, we have seen photos from coalition rooms of parties. And if parties on their own can have their coalition rooms and have the results out by now, I mean, I do not know why the Electoral Commission is not able to put their house in order and be able to give us some, and especially because it's just one constituency. If it is 275 constituencies, I can understand to some extent. But one constituency, and we've been preparing for this for how long? I don't know why we couldn't put things in place. Now, we cannot declare. We can't say anything. The NDC members are saying that they have won. What, like I was saying earlier, what happens when another faction comes to say that they have also won? Because when IB was in Wenchi, you saw the people jubilating, saying that
the NPP had won.
Right. Okay. Let's cross over now to Akwatia. Hanan is at the coalition center. Hopefully the EC is ready this time. Hanan.
Yes, sir, I can hear you loud and clear. So we are live at the coalition center here in Akwatia, where all ballot boxes have made their way here, and the collation of results, which will be projected on the screens very shortly. And unfortunately, sir, I must report to you that the MPP reps are not represented here as we speak in the coalition center, and we are not privy to the reason why they are not here represented to supervise the coalition of the results and subsequent declaration, even though their supporters are on the streets jubilating that their candidate Samuel Asumedu has emerged victorious, given the fact that some of the results were trickling in from the polling station. So let me engage the Director for Legal in the Eastern Region for the NDC. Lawyer, kindly tell us what is happening at the moment. I've seen that a few of the results have been projected.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Kindly give me your name for the record.
Okay, my name is Lawyer Isaac Minta Elabi. I'm the Legal Director for the NDC in the Eastern Region. Yeah, so right now the results are coming in. We have submitted our results as a party, but we are waiting for the official version from the Electoral Commission, which is what our agents right now, all of us are here. We are seeing the writing is done so that, the official results are declared. From perspective.
Okay, so what do you have from your end?
So far, we have about 54% plus, win in these elections. Akwatia has historically been an MPP seat, but this time around we've given them a whipping. We've given a very severe whipping. We've taken the seat. Akwatia is green. Yes.
So tell us, you said it's green, but you're not telling us how many polling stations have you won, or what is the provisional results that you have?
The polling stations we've won, I'm yet to look at those particular, details. But essentially, we've gotten the results from pretty much almost all the college centers. As at the last check, it was around 110, leaving only about 9 out. And there's about 3,000 plus votes difference, which is not possible for them to surmount from electoral history analysis, etc. So bottom line is that we know we have won. And we are talking about 54 plus. If it drops, maybe it will still be in the 54 range. So yeah, we are very confident. We've won. That we know. If you've done the elections, you've done your projections, you do your analysis, you look at the results when they are coming in, you can tell if you won. If you won massively too, you can tell from the results that are coming in. So yes, we have won, and we don't have any doubt about that.
Okay, so currently what I see on the screens is that Solomon Asumedu has 6,801, and then your candidate, that is Bernard Bediako Bedu, has 9,526, with also Patrick, that is for the LPG, has 41, and currently we have rejected 101, and currently total vote cast is 16,479. So from this projection that we have, how many more are we to expect to add up to the number that we have at the moment? Oh, kindly face the camera.
Okay, so see the projection is behind me, so I'm unable to look at it to give you the answers. But
6,801.
Yes, I know, but how many? I have to be able to tell the number of polling. Okay, total number of polling stations 119 with valid and 60. So we are talking about 60
for now.
60 for now.
Okay,
and
so
that's
this is the results for 60.
For 60,
and your candidate is leading.
Exactly, and that alone you can tell a difference of pretty much almost 3,000. Just like I said, it's been that gap throughout from the beginning all the way to almost the end. And
so we have 59 left. So what is your anticipation for this the remaining results? How many polling stations do you think that you can win from the 59 that is remaining?
Oh, bottom line is that from our internal coalition that we have done, we have won. Like I said, if you want to break down to the number of police stations that we have actually won vis-a-vis the ones we've lost, I don't have that here. But what we have done is done a coalition of all of them. And that has shown a margin of about a difference of more than 3,000 votes, which is difficult for them to overcome. They know themselves. I mean, like I'm saying, if you are experienced in elections, you can tell. So bottom line is that here is 60 for the Electoral Commission. We are almost 119 as we speak. And so far, the 60 that the Electoral Commission has collated is no different from what we have. You understand? What the 60 that Electoral Commission has collated is no different from what we have collated. You understand?
Okay. So, but let me ask you this. Ahead of the elections, one member of parliament from your region, that is Michael Ochrebefi for the new job in South Constituency, did say that he was confident that they were going to win the election, and if they don't, he was going to resign. Lawyer as you are for the party in the Eastern region, are you anticipating another by-election? Because we've seen on social media how some of your supporters are already jubilating and calling on him to do the needful. If he doesn't, is there a way that the party could force him to do so?
You see, to whom much is given, much is expected. Honorable Ochrebefi has been the MP, at least to my knowledge, about 2 terms for New Job in South. I was born in Koforidua, and I grew up in Koforidua. And so I know him personally. He's with us. He is around. He's with us. When I saw him immediately when he entered here, he asked, "Why are we here?" And I said, "We are waiting to receive your resignation letter."
And so he actually came here?
Yes, he was here.
And at the moment, there's no representation of the MPP here.
The MPP has an agent here who is assisting with the coalition. I've also cited their regional secretary here, but I've not seen any observer here for them. But mostly from, I can give you an example. In 2024, December 7 presidential parliamentary elections, when it came to the presidential coalition at the regional level, at the EC center, because MPP knew they had lost, not even a fly from MPP came around. And so I was representing the president as his regional coalition agent. Yes, so I was there to collect the results. We had to do it as NDC party, only with the Electoral Commission officers, because NPP, they knew they had won and they didn't even bother to come there. So I'm not surprised that their representation here is very low. it's a sign that they know they've lost.
So is that the reason? You think that is the reason why they are?
I know that is the reason.
But they came earlier.
But what I'm saying is that it's only one agent I've seen and the one secretary probably being passed by. And then Otsibe official came around. But, you know, in terms of representation, where you have won, you come in with confidence. You come with your people. Everybody wants to come around. Like you can see from the NDC. I'm not the only one here. Sorry, I'm not the only one here. We have a Deputy National Elections Director here who's also granting an interview. We have national officers from the party, also part of the electoral, team. And, of course, we have other officers who are around. We have won. That is why we are happy. You can see from my face.
Like I said, would you force Ochirebefi to resign?
We are going to hold him to his words.
But how would you do that?
When the time comes, when we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. But we are going to hold. You see, he's a public officer. And once he makes a public utterance, he must follow it through. And that is what we are going to do. We'll ensure he does. He must put in his resignation. And then we are going to go for a by-election in New Job in South. And we are going to give them a pin like we have done to them in Ablekumanov as well as Akwatia.
Okay, I've seen you with this emboss on your shirt. What is that? And what are you doing with it?
Okay, so we have activated our body cameras. In 2020, we learned our lessons. A lot of things happened, and we decided to incorporate body cameras so that we can capture whatever is going on. And so in 2024 is when we activated the body cameras. And that is our concept, which we are using from now going forward. So as you can see over here, what you see here is a body camera, which is what...
is it working?
Of course. Of course. It is working.
But I've not seen any light on that.
They are all not the same. They are all not the same. But as right now, I have turned it off. Because the major activities that we need to capture are over. You understand? During the daytime, we were monitoring. We were going to different polling stations. And we were capturing scenery. So now...
So let me engage the Deputy Director. Yes, I've exhausted my questions with him. So he has been explaining what the process looked like. I was asking him about why there's no representation from the MPP. And I understood that Michael Ochirebefi, who had vowed to resign if the MPP doesn't win this seat, actually came here together with the regional secretary, but unfortunately they left. What is the situation here at the moment with regards to declaration of results and the coalition that is happening here before we come to Michael Ochirebefi?
Of course, they are doing you can see that the EC is now doing their own coalition. We have finished ours. As we speak now, we are finished with all the 119 polling station, and we are good to go with the results. We are confident. We have won and we have beaten them hands down. We've just decimated.
So what does your results look like? Is it any different from what was projected earlier?
It's not going to be anything different. We are ahead of them. We have gotten all 1-9.
So can you flip it open for me so that my camera, can capture what the NDC has been able to do. So, okay, so kindly turn it for my camera to see. Let me see what the NDC have at the moment. So, Sewa, this is what the results of the NDC looks like, and this is what they have been able to collate. So, they already have all 119 polling stations, and let me start from here. The total, let me start from the total votes, which is 33,870, and from what is the total valid vote is 33,599. Rejected votes is 274, and out of this total number of valid votes, the NDC, sorry, let me begin with the MPP because he's number one on the ballot. So he had 0.51%. Sorry. Okay, so he had 15,249. 15,249 out of the total number of valid votes, representing 45.39% of the total valid votes. And the NDC's Lawyer Baidu had 18,177, representing 54.10% of the total valid votes of 33,599. So, Sewa, this is from the tabulation that the NDC has done with all 119 polling stations and from 21 electoral areas in here. But Rashid Tanko Computer, tell me, how did you manage to do this? Because in Wenchi, for example, which is considered the stronghold of the NDC, there are 11 electoral areas there, and you've been able to win with this margin. I mean, how did you do it?
I told you in the morning that we considered all the 119 polling stations as red zones. They are up for grabs. We didn't consider any polling station as a stronghold of MPP or stronghold of NDC. In fact, indeed, all the polling stations, we consider them as the red zones polling stations. So we put in our strategy, our game plan, in order to flip any of the polling stations. So we're not surprised of the results. We knew what we're doing.
Did you do any underground dealings to get this?
For 1 week, been in this constituency, going campaigning all over the place. House and selling the good works of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to them. And the people were telling us the good works of the president. They used to buy a bag of rice at 1,000 Ghana cedis. Today they are buying at 600. A jerry can of oil they used to buy around 900. They are buying under 400. That's a better Ghana for them. The reset agenda is working. So what do you expect? They will deliver a verdict to us.
But Rashid, let me ask you once again. These results that you have, currently what I saw earlier, the EC officials here collated 60 out of the 119, and they have about 59 to go. And even though your candidate was leading, he was in the region of 9,000 plus. But what if it turns out to be the opposite? Because yours says that it is 54. Global Info Analytics predicted that it was going to be 53%.
And I said we'll up it. I told you that, look, the Global Info...
So it is not going to change.
The 53 that he gave us, I told them we are working to even increase it. And we have been vindicated. Nothing is going to change here. The pink sheet that we use is the same pink sheet they are using.
Okay, so let's now talk about Michael Ochrebefi. Earlier, I heard you making commentaries or making some remarks with regards to his issue about resigning if the NDC wins this elections. But first of all, to ask, was his comment necessary?
Well, we are going to hold him to a strict confirmation of what he said. We are politicians. You see, we must allow the citizens to have confidence in us. We shouldn't be making certain statements when we don't have all the facts. When he made that statement, I held my head and said, hey, this man, you don't know this current NDC you are dealing with. Anytime soon, MPP cannot beat us in any election. I said it. If they want, any of them should resign and test our firepower in his constituency. And he brought himself and said, if NDC...
Are you serious when you say you are going to his constituency? Because if he doesn't resign, how then do you pronounce his seat vacant and hold a by-election?
The man publicly made that statement.
And it's not binding. He didn't sign it on paper.
To follow him through. He must. He's an honorable person. He must do the honorable thing. He's not an honorable member. That's how we describe an honorable member.
But what if it turns out to be a political talk, quote and unquote, as you politicians put it?
What was his intention to do? What was his intention? To fool the generality of the country?
Maybe energize the base of the party to go out and vote.
And that caused their defeat. So he should go and we come and do by-election over there. So that we will know that he's a serious politician. Otherwise, he is branding MPP as people you should not trust. You shouldn't have confidence. I've been saying it. I don't even trust them. They say one thing and do different. And so anytime we are going for election, we prepare ourselves adequately for any eventuality because that's how they are. So he is saying this. If he doesn't resign, it's already indicating their role, how they are, who they are. That's how they are. They say one thing and do different. They think they can fool everybody in this country. Ghanaians are seeing them. Haven't you seen the gap?
So beyond this, some people have said that the MPP is already on the floor with their numbers in Parliament, and you are upstanding, and you are still kicking them in the balls because with the numbers that you have in Parliament, Rashid, I mean, wouldn't you have, pulled out the way they did for Tamale Central?
Look, I am saying that the 1992 Constitution talk about representation of the people. Go and look at the law. the Representation of the People Act. It's talking about representation. Every constituency needs somebody who can properly represent them in Parliament. It's not talking about numbers. That's not it. They are talking about representation. So the fact that we have gotten them, they shouldn't get a proper representation in Parliament. They should just close their eye and pick anybody to go and represent. No. We must make meaning to the Constitution. And that's what we're doing. We believe that we even won the election in 2024. They rigged the election and we followed them to court. The court has not...
2020.
In 2024. We were in court.
2020 you were in court.
I mean the 2024, this constituency.
Okay.
Yes, we were in court over it. We had our evidence. And I challenged the 2000. All along I've been saying about the 2000 vote was a rigged vote. And we're going to demonstrate it in court that they rigged the election with these 2000 votes. Today, you see the difference. It has played out.
So beyond today, I mean, before the final results is projected here, what are we to expect from now till the declaration is done?
We are good to go. I mean, we have promised the people, the believers, they've delivered the verdict. We have continued our good governance for them. We are going to make sure that even we've already done a lot for them before even this election, and that's why they had confidence in voting for the NDC. So I can assure you, we are not going to relent. We will continue. The president is in full force. He's doing a fantastic, nobody needs to tell you. You don't need a rocket scientist to tell you that we have the best of presidents so far in the history of this country. Currently, from the 1992 Constitution so far, he has demonstrated it. And he's down to earth. The people have confidence in him. And I can assure you, we will continue to bring him the goodies that he deserves.
Rashid, I want to ask you again. During this period, you've made a number of promises to the good people of Akwatia. You said they lack development. And if they deliver an NDC candidate in this by-election, you are going to give them development. You mentioned they don't have good roads. The youth say that they don't have enough jobs. As to when are you to provide them with these things, even though earlier we saw the drip machines, working. And some people also say that worked the magic for you because of the last minute thing you were doing earlier around their stronghold in Wenchi. But if you fail to do so, and the next election comes in 2028, be sure that people are going to vote against you for this constituency. But are you going to keep your promise with the number of this by-election?
Of course, we are in this young lawyer.
So you watched my colleague Hanan there speak to the NDC's Deputy Director of Elections, Rashid Tanko Computer, and another representative of the NDC at the Coalition Center. And Hanan mentioned earlier, for those who were watching, that there's no representative of the NPP, I beg your pardon, at the Coalition Center. You can interpret it whichever way you want, whatever it means. I do not know, but there's no NPP representation there. And they also said they're going to new jobbing to force Michael Otribefi to resign because he's supposed to be an honorable man and should not be playing about with his words. EIB here, your election hub, we've made some projections. We will come to you with it later. But Michael Donyina Mensah is Executive Director for the Center for Public Opinion and Awareness. And of course, I'm here with Bernice Abubaidi Lanza. Michael, any surprises there that the NPP does not even have a rep at the Coalition Center?
No.
Not at all?
I am not, because this is not the first time we are seeing something of that sort. I think that they probably saw that the ship was sinking, so they abandoned ship. But I want to say that it is not a semblance of good sportsmanship. When we are in a race like that, we are not in it to win it at all costs. Definitely, one will win, one will lose. I mean, you might win today, you might lose tomorrow. So I feel that for them not to turn up there at all is not really good, because later it may be grounds for them to begin to, after the election, begin to lay accusations and say that there were issues with coalition, or we didn't agree with this and things like that.
So we're told that much earlier there were representatives there, and we also know that there are some constituency executives monitoring. So what it looks like is that on the larger picture, the main officials who are there to supervise the entire event have abandoned ship. But I get what you mean. In the case where you feel that something happened or something right didn't occur, how do you make a statement after the event when you were not there in person? Could this also be a signal that they don't have the courage to face the possible impending defeat? Well, we have some visuals from the NDC strong room in Akwatia, and it appears that they are jubilating. Obviously, we heard from Hanan, who was speaking to the Deputy Director of Elections of the NDC, Rashid Tanko. So you can see the videos there is telling. And like Sewa mentioned earlier, we've seen notable figures of the NPP. And these are people who are close to the top. And so it's safe to say that the NDC has taken an early lead. As you heard Sewa mention, we have all 119 polling stations, and you should expect a projection shortly, and your election hub will be making a projection shortly. We are confident. Our team has been working tirelessly, cross-checking the figures, making sure that everything is accurate, and every vote has been counted and every figure has been accounted for. So you just stay with us here. We will be making a projection shortly, but we've also been talking about what this means for the party in power. Really, it does it not go beyond the mere goodwill to a thing of huge expectation? And let's talk about the pressure this is likely going to put on the incoming MP or the MP-elect. But before that, though, let's talk about the candidates that were fielded by the parties. So we saw the NDC make what you may want to refer to as a U-turn by not bringing or fielding the 2024 candidate. They actually chose the man who represented him in court against the late Ernest Kumi. They went for an election, though. There were about 3 main contenders, and the lawyer, Mr. Baidu, won. Now, the NPP decided to handpick somebody, and they fielded that person. Let's talk about the strengths even of these 2 candidates and the process by which they were selected.
I really have a problem with the process by which the NPP selected their candidate. There's a reason why we want to practice democracy, and for convenience sake, for expediency, you decide to handpick a person, and they probably had their own strategy why they handpicked the person. But if you look at their candidate, what were they marketing their candidate for? I think that most of what people were saying was that he was very resourceful. So it really comes to finances. So you can see that this person was very resourceful in the community, and then he was able to support a lot of people. And I think their other trump card was the fact that he was a minor. So once he was a minor, he could relate very well with much of the larger community because most of them were minors. So they thought that strategy could have worked for them. With the NDC, I don't know for what reason why they decided not to stick with the original candidate. But even with that, I think it would have been improper to say that he was the one who went, so let's let him go. They followed strictly the constitution of the NDC, and then opened nominations, got people to file, and got a very formidable candidate who went ahead to stand for the NDC. So that candidate on the other side, was much more like on the elite side. It's a lawyer, and lawyer and lawmaking, that kind of arrangement. So it looks like he was much more suited for Parliament. And looking at the fact that Ernest Kumi himself was on his way to become a lawyer, it means that being a lawyer also comes with some leverage in terms of being able to go to Parliament. So I don't know how that has played out for this candidate at this point. But as I said earlier on, I believe that incumbency played a very huge role in securing this particular seat we're just, assuming that NDC is the winner, securing this seat for the NDC. So on the two candidates, these are their strengths. One is very community-oriented, supports the community, is very resourceful, and the other, very much well-educated and much more suited in quotes for Parliament. So yes, but the constituents have the reason why they voted, and they told us that it's linked to development. And once the NDC is in power,
but before then, you said that you had a problem with the way the NPP picked their candidates. Do you think that may have contributed to?
For sure. That might have. Let me tell you, Akwatia actually has a problem. I think that if you cast some time back, there was a woman called Amasei. She was the
NPP's Amasei.
I think she was a hairdresser.
Yes.
Look, her story is so phenomenal, and I felt that people like that should have been nursed and encouraged. Because the time with our number, we tend to believe that Parliament is a place for very educated people or elite people. So when we had someone representing that group of people, I felt like this was someone who should be protected, because coming all the way from that to become a member of Parliament, but along the line they said she is not educated, so the next time they ditched her and went and took I think a lawyer, someone who they claim had gone to school, and it caused them a defeat in that election. And that woman is still very popular in the community. Right. So a lot of people were saying it was actually time to give her the opportunity, because she holds a lot of goodwill within the community. Right. But then still they had to go and take a whole new candidate, because if they were to take Amasei, remember that she would have she already had a lot of goodwill, and she had done a lot of the work down already. She's not a new candidate, so she could have been able to make some gains. But unfortunately, they had their own strategy, and I think it backfired.
Right. So I think the NPP is not learning from lessons of the past. Within that period, the Amasei issue happened. There were a number of issues with who would represent the party in the parliamentary elections. Take the Fomena MP, for example, who graciously crossed carpet back to the NPP, or it would have been chaotic for them in the previous parliament, because they went into Fomena again and decided as a party that they were going to, for lack of a better expression, anoint or handpick a certain parliamentary candidate against the choice of the people. So the Fomena MP, who now is a Deputy Speaker of Parliament and even was in the previous Parliament, decided to go independent. And guess what? He won because he was still popular outside of the party, not going with the MPP's ticket. And I think that we've heard analysts say that the party must begin to look again at internal mechanisms in who they seem to be rewarding with some of these positions. It appears it's a reward system they are practicing now. If you contribute to the party more often, then you're likely going to be selected to be an MP candidate.
You have a point. So even in Tamale Central, right, there was a day Hamza came on the show, on the morning show, and I asked him, why isn't the NDC picking a candidate?
Right.
Especially because of the circumstances surrounding the death of the MP, Murtala Mohammed, may his soul rest in peace. And he said that, they had thought of that. But those things cause problems in the party.
Right.
Because you're practicing democracy. You give people the chance. So I've seen a lot of people say you have 13 people pick forms to contest a seat where the man died in such, very sad,
tragic
circumstances. But he said that, yes, it was something that the party actually considered. But looking at how these things can terribly go against the party, they decided to open the floodgates and let people contest. At least that way, and it's to, reaffirm what you're saying, that in that way, no one can say that the party has not been fair to them. Maybe, like he said, in this circumstance, if they had allowed people to contest, maybe that sympathy votes factor would have come in. It would have played a role. But in the case where you are handpicking somebody, you then do not give the people the opportunity to choose, to make a decision, right?
Right. When you give everybody a level or even playing field, it's easy to unify your base after whatever primaries or election you are having. But when you handpick and some people feel shortchanged, you increase the apathy. So I can say that there was some level of apathy within the MP.
Michael, please hold on for me. We told you that we have our projections ready. Our team put together this. So we're ready to give you our projection now. Has won with 54.1% votes. In the new drubbing MP called his bluff and said that if the NPP lost, he was going to resign as MP for his constituency. But here we have it. They actually went beyond what Musa Dankwa projected. 54.10%.
Plus 1 minus 1.
Yeah,
I mean it's allowed. So he's sitting comfortably.
Yeah, very.
In a good place as a pollster within Ghana's electoral space. Now, it's a done deal. We have projected the NDC's Bernard Bediako as winner of the Akwatia by-election, and this adds to the NDC's numbers in Parliament. Already, Sewa mentioned earlier that it may not appear significant in terms of the numbers in Parliament because the NDC already enjoys 2/3. But in terms of the bragging right, in terms of the party's popularity, in terms of measuring the goodwill, this does a lot for the party, doesn't it?
Oh, it sure does. And I'm saying that the goodwill that the NDC enjoyed in the 2024 election, that goodwill still exists. So, yes, that has kind of like played on right here. I think after this victory, the question is what next? What next is that we expect the NDC to be able to fulfill its promises, and whatever promises they made to the people of Akwatia, their ability to hold on to this seat would largely be dependent on how well they are able to fulfill the promises that they have made to the people of Akwatia. So we are hoping that NDC will fulfill its promises, and hopefully this swing seat, they might be able to retain it for a few more couple of electoral cycles, but we wait to see.
Interesting. And talking about the electoral cycles, we're just going through the MPs over the years in Akwatia. Yeah. And you mentioned Amase. Interestingly, Eneskumi contested Amase, or he was brought in and lost on his first try and won on the second. Unfortunately, he couldn't live out the entire session as MP for Akwatia on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party, and that is what has brought us to tonight. I've seen some NPP commentators on social media saying, well, after all, Akwatia is not, they will not call Akwatia a stronghold of their party, so it's not surprising
that no one's stronghold.
Exactly, it's not surprising that the NDC has won. Sewa asked a question. I want to ask it in another way. Do you think the NPP could have done anything to retain the seat? And what could that one thing have been?
Looking at how we run our politics, it would have been a very surmountable, virtually an unsurmountable hill, because I told you about the fact that the NDC government enjoys some amount of goodwill, and when you come to the optics and you even come to performance, they are still, doing good. And what could have played to the advantage of the NPP would have been the sympathy votes part of it. But unfortunately, that really didn't do much in this particular situation. And talking about what it does for the NDC, of course, I mean, one additional seat, it means that coming into 2024, you still have one, seat to overcome. And looking at the wide gap in terms of the number of seats, I see that in 2028, it's still going to be a very uphill task for the NPP, because look at the margin of the seats. So you need to really cover all this margin and then even add more seats to be able to take over power. That really will be very difficult.
Interesting. And so we're talking about taking over power. We know for a fact that there is an impending by-election in Tamale Central. Will there be one in Jabing? I need you to watch this video if it's ready. Let's hear from the horse's own mouth. And the new Jabing MP has been making some pronouncements. If we have that video ready, just for those of you who are wondering what this whole new Jabing trend is about, or what the conversation is about, just watch this and then we'll come back.
MPP will retain the seat. The margin will be very slim. I believe we'll win the election, but the margin will not be too wide. But we'll win. We'll win, I'm telling you.
What makes you so confident?
Because of what the work we have done. We have engaged, we have engaged, we have campaigned. We have prosecuted a campaign that has not happened in the history of this constituency before. We have done whatever we have to do. We've done everything. Everything we need to do, we've done it. We've engaged so well, and people have given us assurance. The good news is that there's a young man who had so much a bright future, but he couldn't achieve his aims. So the people want to at least give us the opportunity again to continue. And the fact that this guy, to our candidate, has a very strong goodwill in town. I mean, he's somebody who has done so well for the people. He's so generous. He has paid people's school fees. He has sponsored a lot of people, education and business. So this gives him advantage, over his competitors. So I believe that we have a false start. We have a false start in these elections. And confidently, I'm telling you, mark my words, I can even tell you that if we lose this election, I'll resign as a member of parliament. I'm telling you, we'll win these elections. We'll win. If we lose these elections, I'll resign as a member of parliament. I'm telling you, we'll win. By close of day Tuesday, you see that we have won elections. And that's what, because I believe the work we have done and the God we serve. The God we serve is a good God, and He has given us hope that we'll win elections. Thank you.
Well, it's close of day Tuesday, and we can confidently say that the MPP didn't win. So,
we'll get into this conversation about the resignation tomorrow. Trust me, tomorrow it's going to be, you have the NDC hold a press conference possibly and ask the NPP to do the honorable thing, by resigning, because it's a very honorable seat. And, interestingly, right, I think that Michael has already said that if we're a serious democracy, this resignation should have happened right about now or early tomorrow morning. But unfortunately, we are not. So we have people at every election make pronouncements and speeches like this, and everyone, they don't live by them. Nobody can hold them to it. Let's see. The NDC says this crop of NDC is something they haven't seen before. I don't know what they intend to do, but let's see. But I was just doing some calculation, right? Per our projection, which we run our viewers through earlier, the NDC got 15,249 votes. The NDC got 18,177 votes. You know that in 2024, the PP won with some 2,063 margin, by a difference of some 2,000. You know, in this one as well, the difference is just about some 2,000.
Right.
You know, you really
so
don't know.
So it could come back to the floating.
Yeah.
It could come back to the people who make the difference, who are not core party-based people. And it's interesting, and that's why I think that the political parties should take a look at the voter population and voter behavior again, because it's not what we know it to be in the past, right? So you have people who make the difference
on the screens
right
now. Sorry, not to cut you. So these are videos from Akwatia, drone shots. Videos from Akwatia, people jubilating clearly, as you can see, and Akwatia has turned green in the voice of the NDC, isn't it? Yeah.
And there are also people, Sewa, there are also people who said, look, we don't care about what's happening. They stayed in their homes and didn't turn out to vote. We know that usually with by-elections, but the percentage we're seeing here, 64.21%. That's quite on the high side for a by-election. Yeah, that's a voter turnout.
Yeah. Can we compare with last election? Do we have that information?
All right.
Yeah, I can get that.
Yeah,
so go on, I'll get that for you.
So there's this percentage of people who said, oh, we are not interested in whatever is happening. Let people go out and make the decision on their behalf. It comes back to civic responsibility, and people probably, is it apathy? Is it the fact that, some people just feel like, well, let's leave it to other people to make the decision on our behalf.
Yeah, I would have loved to see what happened in the last election.
Yeah, we have it. Sewa will...
because earlier on in the day, we were kind of like...
Sorry, Michael, I think we have an issue with your microphone, and work that out shortly. But if you just joined us, we have projected the NDC's Bernard Bade, who has won the Akwatia by-election with 18,877 votes. That is 54.10% of the valid votes cast. And so your election hub can safely say that Akwatia has turned green. In 2024, Akwatia went blue. That was heavily contested in court, and we know how it all turned up with the Ernest Kumi being issued, a bench warrant was issued for his arrest for contempt of court. The Supreme Court decided that was a bit too far-reaching by the High Court judge in Kaforidia, and so that was set aside. But we didn't see a full conclusion of the determination of that matter until he unfortunately passed away. So Sawa, we've been talking about the figures, and in 2024, these are the figures that we have. I'm waiting for the voter turnout.
Yes,
that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
But in 2024, Eniskumi had 19,269 votes. And here, Henry Yadomboachi of the NDC had 17,206. But if this is anything safe to go by, I could say that the turnout was higher, because the total figure here is higher than what we recorded cumulatively for this by-election. Our team will just work out the percentage and furnish us with the details, and so we'll be bringing you that. But here we were talking about the turnout and what it likely means in this particular election.
Yeah, that's why we say elections are very unpredictable activity. Earlier on in the day, the voting was very slow. So some of us were worried, and we expressed concern that this might affect the overall turnout. But I'm very glad that still, by the end of the day, people warmed up into the election, and the turnout, is quite impressive. It's not the best, but 62 is beyond 64 is beyond what we were actually expecting. We were looking somewhere around 55, thereabout. So this is very good on the part of the people of Akwatia, and I am very happy for at least this turnout, though it is really not optimum. That means that we still have a lot of people who are interested in civic activities like voting, despite the issues.
I have the information that you need. So voter turnout in 2024 was some 70.27%.
So there's a dip.
There's a dip. There is a dip, but it's not very significant in terms of looking at a by-election. You would expect that the voter turnout will be lower, also because, a lot of people travel. And that's the other dynamic we were talking about in terms of digitalization. Because you have people working in different places and they want to vote in their home region or home constituency. But usually during by-elections, today is a Tuesday, for example, and so people are working, they may not get permission to come from work to travel back. So all those dynamics are at play. And that's why going digital may be the future.
Yes,
it's now.
Yes, so this is really a very good activity, and the turnout, I think, it is not the best, but I think that it is impressive for this by-election, and we want to congratulate the people of Akwatia for coming out to vote. And I also want to thank all those who have made it possible for us to have this almost peaceful election, because usually by-elections come with a lot of trouble and trauma, but this one has been largely peaceful, and we have to pat ourselves on the back, especially the people in Akwatia. This is what we really want to see, except the little altercation that I still want to talk about by tomorrow morning.
They may be little, but here's the catch for me. These are very notable people in the two main political parties. Certain statements were made. We spoke about the one between the vice chairman where the NPP's he says that he's reported the case to the police. But there's one of a statement made by Sofo Azoka about the minority leader in parliament. And I think that we need to relook at it again. He says that if they had met Alexander Apenyo Marking, there would have been a by-election in his constituency. What does it take for a by-election to happen?
It's a subtle death threat.
So they may not have been, in terms of the entire process, they may not have marred the entire process, but these send very, very wrong signals. And I think that the party, we should be seeing a statement from the NDC by now.
Condemning this.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
because he is an executive of the party. If he won't come out to apologize for his own comments, the party must take a stance on this. If anything should happen to the MP for Ifutu, who should be held responsible when statements like this have been made in the full glare of the public?
Very embarrassing, and I feel that with that particular showing, Ghanaians are now seeing where the problem is coming from, because we didn't see any voters misbehaving. We are now seeing clearly where the problem is coming from.
Does it also make you nurse a fear of the power of incumbency? Someone who said that we are barely 1 year into the NDC's tenure, and people can confidently make such remarks with microphones in front of journalists, knowing very well that not only are the people they're hearing, but the entire world is hearing.
Bernice, here's my take on it, right? There was something that Michael said earlier, that if you take 5,500 policemen to Akwatia, and there's a fight happening right in front of you, and you have to wait for one of them to make an official complaint to the Akwatia police, then I really don't know what all those men are standing there for.
Right.
Because when crimes are committed in the presence of the police, they have the right to arrest the perpetrators of those crimes. You cannot ignore such a crime committed right under your nose and then tell us that you have done everything possible to beef up security in Akwatia, to the extent of telling us that you have mobile police stations moving around the constituency. Make use of that mobile police station and let us know that you're actually working. It was still in the same presence of the police when these statements that you talk about were made. Why do we have to then wait for the NPP to, as they have said, hold their usual press conference and say that the police is supposed to take action, and because the police hasn't taken any action against the
perpetrator,
the person who made those statements, then they have no trust in the police? These are some of the things that we do to strengthen our democracy and the trust we have in the police. Because like Michael said, this election has been largely peaceful. In fact, fact, I dare say that it's been very peaceful,
Right.
but for the actions of these two, especially, we all saw on video the ones who perpetrated this action. If it had started from there, you shut up the mouth of the NPP, because you take the two of them away, you do what you have to do, because it is very clear for everyone to see. But no, very typical of us. We are going to wait. A formal complaint has been made, no arrest has been made, no invitation has been sent out. Then it's going to drag. There will be press conference upon press conference. Then eventually someone will be invited to the police station, and then there will be some sort of fine to seal the matter, and then we are back to square one. Every time. This is what we do to ourselves. Every single time, because you make such a statement against a minority leader and say it with so much anger and confidence that wallahi, in his own words, if he had met the man there would have been another by-election there. What are you trying to say?
Absolutely.
There's threat of harm, there's threat of death, and every sort of threat that you can think of. And this is wrong.
Verbal abuse.
It is wrong.
Right. So it comes back to the issue of the power of incumbency. So then, he knew there were police people there, but he still went ahead to make this statement. Why?
Okay, so I think that we can track the source of the problem, and it's one thing that we at SEMPOA, we've already made this call: the independence of the police, because until we address that particular issue, once the politicians control the police, we're still going to be seeing some of these things, because the last person a politician is afraid of is the police. When you even have a police case, one of the ways to get out of the case is to go and see a politician who will intervene for you. So if we have a police force that really the politicians see themselves above the police, then we're going to be having some of these problems.
So it comes back to it that at the heart of this is the inability of the police to crack the whip on sympathizers, supporters, executives, and members of the party in power.
Clear. It's very clear. Because
imagine if it was the other way around.
Or it was an ordinary citizen.
Ordinary citizen, I don't even think much would have been done. We all saw, Dennis, please take over, let me take it.
Sure. So, I mean, like we always say, strengthening institutions, strengthening institutions, and I remember very well when Barack Obama came to Ghana. It was at the heart of his message to our parliament. And ever since then, we've been replicating and talking about what he said. But since then, I cannot say that we have taken any significant steps to suggest that we are strengthening our institutions that do not only solidify our democracy, but facilitate it. Just talk about the judiciary, talk about Parliament itself, talk about the police service. It keeps going down and down and down. And these are some of the things that happen. You feeling better now?
Yes, so, I was just going to talk about what happened in the Ablekuma North rerun. Right. So we saw, everyone saw this, just as we have seen this one. Persons beat up another individual. And these are, because he mentioned ordinary persons, they beat up these people. After a lot of talk, we saw that they were put before courts. And what did we see? They were fined 6,000. That is certainly not deterrent enough.
Right.
It means that, or what we are telling people, or some of these quote and unquote hoodlums or party sympathizers, is that you can go this route, do some of these things, and at most you'll be fined an amount that
you can easily
pay and get away with. But in discussing this, I am also not surprised. You know why? Because remember the Delta 8. Those who stormed the offices of the regional security coordinator were fined 1,800 cedis each. And Michael said something, that the way we run our elections or democracy here is like there's a book. So when this party is in power, they do this. When that party is in power,
it's a politics of convenience.
Yes. So we do the same things to each other, and it is almost likely to never change. Because really, what moral rights are you going to have to condemn the fine of 6,000? And they'll tell you that the amount has been increased at least.
So you are a lawyer.
I'm not a lawyer yet.
You are not, okay,
I mean, not yet.
Right. So the issue with that particular judgment,
right.
I think from where I sit, it was a poor judgment on the part of the judge. The reason why I'm saying that is the judge stayed within the law. The 6,000 fine was within the law, but it only covered the area of assault or attempted assault. It didn't look at disturbing of public peace or disrupting election, because that assault didn't have...
Were those the charges the prosecutors preferred also against?
Very good. So even the charges were just only two. Assault and attempted assault.
Exactly.
But when you go even into our books, if that activity happened at a public activity, an election, a polling station, so it disrupted the elections.
Right.
And all that part was not included in the charges. So it was a very poorly prosecuted case. And if people, disturbing electoral process strikes at the very heart of democracy. So if such a crime occurs and you want to serve bring in punitive measures or punish people, it has to be deterrent enough. So I don't know what the judge was thinking, but it was really a very poor judgment, and we are encouraging.
I'm only asking the question because the judge is working with prosecutors who have come with a certain charge. He cannot go, and he found them guilty of those charges. I'm not sure the judge can go beyond that. No, I'm not sure
that's not the system that we
to
practice.
Say that, okay, beyond what you were charged, I also see that what you did, so the judge's hands were tied, and it comes down to the ability of our prosecutors to also do an excellent job at prosecuting rightly.
You're right.
Yes, you're right, but it's the same thing, and I'm sorry to say
so
that
it comes back.
Changed.
Yes.
It's this, and we see something similar. It's going to be the same thing.
Okay, and it also raises concerns or questions about whether the prosecutor was actually doing something to create a way of escape.
That's how I saw it. That's how majority of Ghanaians just saw it. Because, as I was saying, if you look at the recommended punishment, we had the fine and we have imprisonment of no more than 3 years for assault. So why do you just make it a fine?
Okay.
That's the question. Because the option, if a fine was the only option, we say, okay, but we also have the option of prison term. So
it's at the discretion of
that's what I'm saying.
Right?
Yes.
And it is based on what's if there are many factors that goes into determining some of these things.
You're
it
right.
all boils down to what the judge was presented with.
Right.
But for me, it doesn't do well for our democracy and what we are trying to practice. When people commit such offenses, punish them. Let it serve as deterrent enough. No one should feel comfortable going anywhere to beat up anybody.
Right.
And feel so hard. Because, this, if something like this had happened today, people would say, oh, yeah, that's why the NPP kept telling their people to protect themselves. Mm-hmm. Even one of their flag bearer aspirants, Kennedy Japan, said, protect yourself. Because if you allow someone to beat you up, and the person is put before court, they are going to get a fine, and they're going to go home and sleep, right?
Okay, so we're still waiting for the EC's official declaration of the Akwatia by-elections. It's almost 8:30, 5 minutes to 8:30, and polls closed at 5 o'clock. Still comes down to the question of why it's taking us this long to collate the results in Akwatia. We have projected to you after reviewing all 119 results from all 119 polling stations. We can safely project the NDC's Bernard Baidu as winner of the Akwatia by-election. IB, Hanan, and Kojo Ansah are still in Akwatia monitoring what's happening. And so I'm waiting to see what the constituency offices will look like. Once we've projected And as election hub, we know how our projections and code cards travel far. I'm sure by now people have seen, and they're beginning to ask questions. And those who believe they had won and now see that they haven't won will begin to ask questions and probably demand answers from their leaders. But it will be good to gauge the mood on the ground. Hanan is still at the Constituency Collation Center. We know that there's still some work happening, and so we don't know when the EC will officially declare Akwatia. Hopefully it does so by 9 p.m.
The EC consistently is always late to the party, and I just don't know.
It's sad. It's sad.
You know, Musa Dankwa has just tweeted something that, in fact, two things that he tweeted. He said getting Akwatia right was more difficult than the 2024 general elections. And, I mean, 2024 general elections, I think it was pretty clear who was going to win based on, you know, the trend that we had seen. But he also just said that, just as we're asking the research analysts, that there were more NPP supporters in the exit poll, but NDC won, meaning not all MPP voters voted for Asumedu, and that's exactly what I asked.
It was the same thing we were all wondering because and clearly, so that's why I made a statement that we have to be careful not to associate affiliation with who you necessarily voted for, because someone can be affiliated to a certain party and vote otherwise. And we've seen it happen in many constituencies during general elections where people vote skirt and blouse. So it's telling, and again comes back to the NPP doing its work well. And that is if only they're not going to treat Musa Dankwa the way they've done over the period, if they're going to trust his data and begin to look at how an exit poll says that the larger percentage of voters were affiliated to us, yet we lost. It's something for them to think about. If they really want to do their homework well, they will begin to start investigating why that even happened in the first place.
You know, polling is a technical skill, but it is not rocket science. Even the MPP itself, if it is really interested in genuine data collection and, you know, polls, they can be able to conduct internal polls and be able to see some of these things. But, you know, to outrightly reject polls, sometimes based on emotions and not really swallow the bitter pill and taking the information and work on it. I believe that if they were to pay attention to what Musa Dankwa was doing and were to assiduously work on it, it is possible that they could have turned around this whole election. But because they outrightly objected, they were not objective enough and they weren't seeing the real picture. So I'm using this opportunity to encourage the politicians. Like politics, polling is a really important part of politics. Research is really very important part. At least, even if the information comes, even if you don't believe it, I mean, don't treat it with contempt. Take it in and work on it, and it could possibly save a lot of things for you.
Interesting. So we see how it goes. Musa Dankwa is trending actually, Sewa, and New Drabbing is trending as well. New Drabbing is trending because, as you may be aware by now, the New Drabbing South MP put his position as MP on the line and said that he was very confident of the MPP winning the Akwatia seat to the extent that he was willing to put his seat in Parliament on the line.
It's a strong word.
Yes, so let's see. We will try and speak to him. Hopefully we'll get his comments after this. I've seen a video of him in the Akwatia collation room, and he didn't look too good. He looked a bit disoriented. I think he was just a bit overwhelmed. But right now, a couple of minutes ago, we were told by our man there, Hanan, that there was no MPP supervisor. Those who had come from the national level to come and supervise the elections were not at the collation center anymore. There were just some constituency reps who were also putting the figures together. So what else are we picking from social media?
Well, very, very interesting. So, like you said, Musa Dankwa is trending of course, because he got it right. And he also trending alongside is a picture of Benefsin. Everyone knows who Benefsin is, especially if you've been a student of politics and you've been following exactly what has been going on. But it appears that Musa Dankwa is taking over as a poster, and there are people asking him to predict where Manchester United is going to land at the end of this season. Because he almost has gotten everything right since the 2024 elections. Well, so there's a tweet of Sam George saying that Akwatia is green, and the video by Michael Otribefi for which IB got exclusively is also trending on that. Well, there are people talking about the fact that the elections were largely peaceful and didn't record any violence but for those two gentlemen. And then there's a video of Collins Dauda and what he said, which we have talked about here, equally trending. Also videos from the NDC's headquarters in the Eastern region, and also their coalition center where they're jubilating, and our projection as well is also trending. And over an hour ago, Rashid Tanko Computer had said that the NDC has won. So that and a few other things are trending. And when it comes to new drubbing, there are people who are asking what time. John Dumelo is asking if anyone has seen Honorable Befi. Please ask him what time he's resigning. I don't know if that's going to happen, though, but let's see. It will be very, 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 very interesting to see what's going to come out of that. So, okay, so I have seen a post. I do not know if this is original, though, because in this day and age where I have to check the official page of the media house to see if they have tweeted it, but if they have not, I would not be able to speak to whether it's
not there, right?
No, I don't see it there. I don't see it there. Look at it. Yes. Yes, I don't see it there. I don't see it there. But I will also check their Facebook page very quickly. But it's still on Otribefi, by the way, of he apologizing allegedly for the comments that he made with regard to the by-election in the Akwatia constituency. So actually, it's on their Facebook page. So on the Asase Facebook page, there's a quote by the Honorable Befi. It wasn't on their Twitter, but it's on their Facebook page, saying he said quite a few things. He says that he apologized to Ghanaians for his resignation comments. He went too far, and also goes ahead to say that the NDC allegedly paid voters between 500 and 1,000 Ghana cedis, and then tops it with he not contesting the next general elections as an MP. So he has apologized.
Okay.
Michael, should that end it?
By African standards, that's enough.
But should we continue to do these things? Have people make such statements and then come to apologize for it? Or you think that it was said in jest?
I mean, he has ended up embarrassing himself, and I think that embarrassment alone is enough. And going forward, I think others will take a cue from this. So for me, I think that I applaud him for taking the step to quickly apologize without even Ghanaians dragging him. And if for this reason he has decided not to stand for the next election, I mean, kudos to him.
Well, I mean,
at least he has almost stood by his word.
Well, I don't think he did. I don't think he did. He was very specific. He made
because he was sure that the NDC MPP was going to
win. But again, how sure are you of something that does not lie within your power?
That's a good question. How sure are you of something that you have no control over? But we had the person who also said that his head should be cut off when, As it stands, though, just by way of education, the NDC has 184 seats in Parliament. Okay. Right, as at the last time, they had 183. The NPP had 87. They've lost one. So they have 86 now. The NDC has 184 seats in Parliament. And there are people who have wondered what, because everyone keeps saying that the NDC has got the majority, 2/3 of the majority. So now it's 185. Okay, I said 184 because of the Tamale Central, but I mean now that the NPP says they are not contesting, it's clearly going to.
Well, let's see if
maybe they'll change their mind.
Someone is apologizing for something he said. I don't know if the NPP will still stand by their words.
But Tamale Central is an NDC stronghold.
Yes,
I do not think.
Yeah.
When I saw the news that the NPP said they were not going to contest, I just said that, truthfully, it is because they know they are not going to win. And the NPP cannot take another election defeat at that time.
Yeah.
So it really didn't have so much to do with the circumstances surrounding the tragic death of the sitting MP.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It is just because the NPP knew that they were not going to win that seat. Even if the NPP had not died, the MP, I beg your pardon, had not died in such circumstances. But, as usual, we have to do politics with it and tell the people that they're being sympathetic and they're being human. But really, we all know that that's not why the NPP didn't contest, right, Michael?
Yeah, it was, they were trying to pull a smart one, some form of emotional blackmail to, pick a seat, a free seat, but the NDC wouldn't let that go. And, so here we are. The NPP is down by 1, and I thought you were going to ask about the question with the NDC having a super majority. So what at all are they going to do with all those?
Right, I think I was going to go there. So the NDC now does not just have a majority, but they have, like you mentioned, super majority. Now, with super majority, there are a few things that the NDC can do. They can impeach the president. They can amend non-entrenched constitutional provisions. They can approve or extend a state of emergency. They can also override a presidential veto on bills. Unfortunately, I do not think they cannot impeach the president. It is their president. It is their candidate who is president, right? I don't know if they will want to amend non-entrenched constitutional provisions. There are some things that they can do, but we do not know if they will be bold enough.
One of the things that the opposition and commentators who speak in support of the opposition feared was that they were going to probably amend the Constitution to allow for the president to run for a 3rd term, but the president has said that is not on his table at all. And so, and here's the catch, even if they still decide to do it maybe for future purposes, at least we've heard from President Mahama, who says, I'm not interested in a 3rd term, I'm not going to go for a 3rd term.
You know why? I commend the president for that. I am not very sure whether that constitutional provision is an entrenched provision or not. Because if it is an entrenched provision, the NDC is not able to on their own change that. Right. Because there has to be what's the thing called again?
A referendum?
A referendum, exactly, to have that position changed, even if they have debated it in Parliament and all that. So I am not very sure, like I said, if that is an entrenched provision. But it's good that the president has come out to say that he's not interested, because it wouldn't have been a nice conversation at all, right. And I do not think that people like Michael here and CSOs would allow the president to say, because
funny enough,
you were for it?
We wrote to the Constitutional Review Commission on this particular issue. We believe that capping presidential terms sometimes is problematic, because within the 8 years, you see, when you get a visionary leader who really has a very good vision for the country, sometimes capping it within the 8 years, that means you are taking, if the citizens willingly want to allow that president to go beyond this, and the constitution is
so
actually limiting.
What was your recommendation? I'm eager to hear that. I'm eager to hear what your recommendation was. That it should be uncapped, or it should be a 6-year term twice, or what was your recommendation?
Right. We first of all just felt like the 8-year term was just too short, because they spent 1 year campaigning, or probably much of the last year campaigning, and the first year kind of settling in, and 6 years in between to be able to really do
the work.
A lot. Like if you actually carry a vision, it was not enough. And then secondly, you know, because we really have an issue of a leadership crisis in Africa, once you get a very good one, the citizens willingly, if the person is doing what they want, and is because they have the power to remove the person at any point in time. But capping it, that means you remove that power from the citizens to be able to allow someone that they willingly want to continue to really proceed. But His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has said that, look, he is really not interested in that. I am only hoping that whoever is coming after President John Dramani Mahama has really very big shoes to fill. Why am I saying that? For example, if he's able to finish his 4-year term with just 60 ministers, right? Anyone who comes to power and wants to appoint 80 ministers, Ghanaians will know that, no, you are trying to, in quotes, bullshit us because someone did it with 60.
Right. But you still haven't answered my question. I'm asking what your recommendation was. Did you ask for...
So our recommendation was that you can go beyond 2 terms if...
the people want to.
But then you'll be capped maybe at the 3rd term. But you can come back. What we are saying is, you see, John Mahama's issue is not a continuous term.
Right.
We can give you maybe the maximum of 3 continuous terms, or even if it's 2 terms, you still have the ability to come back when
there's a break in...
when the citizens want you to come back. Once they identify you...
I think that will be a bit of a
But,
stretch,
well, of course, it's a bit far-fetched.
I think that our democracy hasn't gotten to that.
But some countries don't have a
yet.
cap. Like the UK, like Russia, like they don't have caps.
Yeah, but we are not
Germany.
We are not
Germany doesn't have a cap.
Yeah, but you are comparing us to the likes of the UK, Germany, really? Like
but let me
if a president is able to develop the country to the UK standard and Germany standard, maybe we can have that conversation. But as it stands, I do not see why. I don't see why we need to give anybody, a 3rd term.
Look at the many countries that really developed very well, moved from 3rd world. They had a very consistent leader.
Exactly.
For a very long time.
I know they have cited the Malaysia, the Singapore example.
They had consistent leader for a very long time.
Yes. So.
But my last thing, Article 71. We are talking about what do they do with the numbers. Please, NDC. Article 71 is that seed that is causing problems in our form of democracy because our politics has been monetized.
Okay, so we need to deal with that.
Exactly. You have MPs or representatives of these people or countries that you talk about who are mostly interested in serving. We, on the other hand, have people who are getting into power because they want to steal from the people. They want to enrich themselves. It is not the same.
All right.
It is really not the same. And I am also of the opinion that the people who become presidents, most of them have the country's best interest at heart. I mean, you will not want to go through all of that stress just to come and quote and unquote misbehave or mess around. It is the system and mostly the people they work with. They come in, have some agenda, execute that, because really, a lot of these scandals that happen, it is not the president who supervises them.
Right.
It is the ministers and the MPs and whatnot. The president isn't there. I don't know. I don't think we are there yet. But very shortly, we'll be crossing over to bring you some social media comments by Vanessa.
Right. So Hanan has also been reporting from the Collation Center, Sewa. As it stands now, what we can see on the Excel spreadsheet for Akwatia is some 38 polling stations outstanding. So the number of polling stations that have had valid entries into the EC system are 81. 81. So we have 38 more to go, and it's 15 minutes to 9. So I didn't know how long we'd have to wait for this, but while the EC is waiting to verify and finally announce, some of you have been sharing your thoughts about this on social media, And Tutu Adanso will be bringing us that shortly. But also, if you just joined us, we have been hearing from the MP at the center of a certain trend, Michael Otribe, the MP for New Drapen South, and he's been speaking to Accra Base Station as projected by Asase. I think Tumpan is one of Asase's affiliates, they're saying he's saying that he's apologizing for his resignation comment. He went too far. And he says he won't contest the next general elections as an MP. I don't know if that's to compensate. That's to compensate the NDC, because the NDC says that they're coming to New Drabbing South because he says that he will resign. We're just waiting to see how the coming days will look like. Akwatia is green. We have confirmed. We've made our safest projection. We have all the figures from the 119 polling stations. The NDC's Bernard Beidou has won the Akwatia by-election. Waiting on the EC to give us the official declaration. But you can also get interactive with us. Get onto our Facebook page. We are GH1 Television. We are also GH1 TV on Twitter. Just drop your comments. Let us know what you think. If you've been observing the election since morning, what you make of the police's performance, what you make of that rather unfortunate scuffle between the NDC and MPP vice chairpersons, and also what are your thoughts on this vote? What do they really mean? Do you agree with those who say that this is just another incumbent party winning a by-election, nothing much to worry about? Or you are on the side of those who say that this is actually a feather in the cap of the NDC, a goodwill statement, a statement that the citizenry actually agree with the governance of John Dramani Mahama so far. And Tutu Adanso will be standing by, and she is actually ready to bring us your comments, and you'll be seeing them soon. And Tutua, what do you have for us?
Well, first of all, any surprises, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, are we surprised? Well,
I'm not.
You are not?
No.
Why?
I am not. I was just, I'm not very surprised, but especially when I listened to Musa Dankwa break down the data. The data. And I'm also not surprised because I have looked at the history or the voting history of Akwatia, so I'm not surprised.
Right.
I was just thinking, like many other people, that there was going to be some sympathy votes.
Yeah.
That I think that for the many people who thought that the Akwatia was going to stay blue, it was because of the circumstances under which, because look at when the NPP held their 40-day celebration for NS Kumi, just at the time to, sort of remind the people that the MP just died. He wasn't sick. And I know him personally. I knew him. He wasn't sick. He just died. I was expecting, an increase in the votes just because of that. But they have shown, just as Musa Dankwa said, that it really had nothing to do with the fortunes of.
Somebody told me something.
Right.
He said the Gen Zs, they have no sympathy. So sympathy votes doesn't work with them. So
are there Gen Zs in that?
No, much of the voter population are young people.
About 20. But talking about sympathy, was there any form of sympathy on the 1 week celebration? Because instead, it was business as usual for a lot of the politicians. I don't know what you guys think, but comments from Afenyo Marken that the NDC wasn't even supposed to contest in that election was off for me. There was nothing sympathetic about it. And then we have the issue where the NPP supporters almost pounced on the NDC executives. There was nothing sympathetic. So I don't know how they were going to do with the sympathy vote. But let me just go straight into the comments. We have the first one saying that, indeed, Aban Papa who can't post teachers, first time in Ghana history, Aban Papa who can't pay teachers for more than 1 year. wow, this person is clearly displeased about the whole thing, but it's happened. And we have, so this man is trending. Ochebefi. He was very confident a few days ago that he was going to resign, showed the NDC win the seat in Akwatia, but unfortunately for him, that has happened. So, Flyboy Bit says ASAP, and in fact, we are all waiting for that. He needs to do the honorable thing. Okay, David says that, okay, let me just try and get a comment again. But there's been a lot of reactions on social media because Akwatia is a keenly contested seat. It has always been since 1992. So I have another comment. David says that it's green and not too long from now to see Ghana green for eternity. We'll see how that goes. Demelin says, this week Golong gives some people. I agree. It is done and Akwatia is green. It's green, no, laughing out loud. So the resignation MP, please call him, give we have to call him. We have to try and get him on the phone.
Sewa, that's directed at you personally.
Yes, Sewa.
At Sewa.
At Sewa, it's green.
So
the resignation MP, please call him, give we. And Valerie says the lawyer.
You may have to call IB to call him.
IB brought that interview. And then Watch Your Mouth says that we should do by-election again for the whole Ghana. Oh. Really. Hallmark says that, hey, no, still they get votes for GH.
Those are live visuals coming to you from our Constituency Collation Center. We also have our men in the Akwatia Township and surrounding communities. Exactly, we'll let you know what's happening. Maybe some people will sleep early tonight. Maybe some will continue enjoying themselves in the streets. We are also working the lines to get the MP for New Drabbing South, Otribefi, because that video in which you saw him making that promise to resign as MP if the NPP loses Akwatia was done by our very own parliamentary correspondent, head of our political affairs desk, Ibrahim Al-Hassan. So it's only fair that he speaks to us to explain to us what is happening now that he knows they didn't win. And would also be hearing in the coming days from tomorrow, picking reactions, also on how this will pan out in Parliament. And
I think it's a closed case.
No, I know, but in terms of planning when they're going to swear him in and all that, we'll be getting all those fine details.
Okay, sorry
yeah, that's okay. We'll be getting all those fine details from Parliament and letting you in. If you just joined us, this is your election hub, bringing you live coverage of the Akwatia by-election from this morning till now. And thank you for keeping faith with us. Thank you for staying with us, even up till this point. We are waiting for the EC. We have only 81 out of 119 polling stations from the Electoral Commission's Excel spreadsheet. But Tutua, have you got more comments on social media for us?
I have.
All right.
Yeah, I do.
Tell us, what are they saying?
Otribefi, whose call we are waiting for? Well, so he's in the trend. In fact, it's New Drabbing that's in the trend because that's his constituency. And then, as we all know, he had indicated that should the NDC win the Akwatia seats, he will resign. And so people have been preparing for a by-election in New Drabbing. So I'll just take a few comments. This is coming from Dr. Frank Amakohene. He says, deactivate all body cams, eagle eyes on New Drabbing. Okay.
On Star FM and other affiliates across the country. And as it is now, we've still got our guest in studio with us, Michael Donyina Mensah, who's Executive Director of the Center for Public Opinion and Awareness. And Michael, we're just waiting for the EC at this point.
We said this earlier on. I don't understand the delays. Are we getting any updates from the EC, or it's just quiet?
Well,
from what I know, so our correspondent on the ground is telling us that about quite a number of polling stations results have coming. So they're waiting for some 38 or so more. That's what I last heard. So, a friend of mine said he has been a polling station agent before, if I got that right, and tried to explain to me the process. So let me just get it right. So he said, like an EC official. So he said that after the EC declares results at a polling station, it takes about 2 hours to finish filling the required forms, and another time to transport it to the collation center and the electoral materials. So imagine, and some of these polling centers are in the villages. So after declaring the results, they have to fill all those forms, get it right, gather everything, put it in a car, transport it to the collation center. That's why it delays. So we haven't been able to get a system where we can electronically...
Right from the polling station, feed it into
the system.
But I thought the CI...
in 2024, didn't they try to do something like that?
They even had a WhatsApp page, I remember very well, and Araba was there for us at the EC headquarters, and they had a system. They even allowed for faxing and WhatsApp. I get the bit on writing a report, I get the bit on transporting, but so we're here, the viewers are waiting. A projection has been made, but we know constitutionally it is only the EC that can declare a winner. So we are waiting, and this is just a constituency election. Mind you, Ablekuma North was just 19 out of the entire, so it was much faster.
But even that, it was declared around 7 p.m., right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not so different.
Right. So you have 119 now, 100 more polling stations. But again, we should do better in this day and age, seeing that it's become a very fast-paced, evolving world. And you see, this appears to be quite a wide margin. So there's no... But in cases where it may be just 1 or 2 votes, or 3 or 100 votes, that could easily go... Then there's a lot of tension.
Right.
And then it could spill over, and then you have other, unfortunate incidents happening. So thankfully, this is not one of those tensious moments of elections where it's a close call, so everybody is on edge and all that. But just imagine if it were, and it's 9 o'clock already, and we still haven't received anything.
Let me take you back to the 2024 elections. After the election, until the next morning, we still didn't know who had won.
Right.
And sad enough, I was consistently following on the EC website, there was no update. There was nothing there. And I feel that the EC is either not learning or is not adapting technology. Because during the last election, I expected to see some form of a counter like on EC's website, where when you go, you can see constant updates as they get the information, so that when it comes in slowly and slowly and slowly, it will really cool down the tensions. But to keep everything away, or kind of like conceal everything from the voters or the general public, and decide to wait until you finish everything, a lot of things can go wrong within that period. That was why I was even asking that with this particular election, on their website, we should have been seeing updates as it is being built up.
For the polling stations that are done and certified, you just upload the results
right now,
there.
if you want to update any minute, like they constantly updated, so that people will be following and people will be knowing that, our candidate is winning or we are lagging behind. But something like this, you go to their website and there will be nothing about these results.
Please hold on. Let's take you back to the Collation Center.
Hopefully.
Hanan is standing by. Hopefully they're ready this time. Hanan.
7 days. Rejected 3.
Oh, we apologize for that. We will reconnect and go back to the Collation Center. The one thing that we are all waiting for to hear the final declaration of the results so we can close and go home and come back tomorrow morning. But Michael, you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, the EC has to really take steps to address these delays.
Yeah.
Because it can really...
We had these same conversations in 2024, remember? Right. In fact, at some points, Bernice, you and I were on, and you'd have thought that they would have done something to prove themselves.
Right.
They waited so long. It became a whole conversation that they were probably waiting this long because some people were trying to manipulate the elections.
Yeah, I also think that nobody prays for a by-election because of the circumstances around which by-elections occur. But when they happen and there is a by-election, I think it's a fine opportunity for the EC to pilot certain systems. It allows for them to see the loopholes before they may run it on a larger scale during a general election. So we've got Hanan now at the Collation Center. Hanan, if you can hear us, do we have a final declaration happening in the next few minutes?
Well, Bernice, unfortunately, we are nowhere near declaration at the moment, but the electoral officers have progressed when it comes to the collation of the results. And right about now, basically, that's what they are doing at the moment, and they are collating. So we can confirm from the officer here who is in charge of inputting the certified figures into the system that he has crossed the 80 mark, heading towards 90 and then head towards to 100. Remember, we have a total of 119 polling stations, and they have to go through or certify all those results from the 119 polling stations before the official declaration is done. And so let me quickly find out from the gentleman who is in charge of inputting the results as to what is keeping us. You're live on GH1 television. Please tell us your name and tell us why is the results delaying up till now?
We are not delaying. We have almost all the results. We are left with only 4 polling stations to be done.
So we've done over 100?
Yes. So far we've done 115.
115?
So we are left with only 4.
So with the 4 left, what then will happen if you are done with the 4?
We will put everything together and declare the winner. That's all.
All right. So your name for the records?
I'm Richmond.
Richmond, and you are?
I'm the CEO, the collation officer.
Okay, so Richmond is the CEO, coalition officer for the Akwatia by-election coalition center. And he tells us that they have about 4 polling stations left. And when they are done with the 4 polling stations, they will ensure that they certify those reports and then project it on the screen right on my left, on my right rather, before the official declaration is done. Interestingly, like I told you, Bernice, at least there's only 1 polling agent for the MPP here. Okay, so I understand there's another one. So how many are you?
We are 2 here.
We are 2. Okay, so we know that your top hierarchy or officials of your party, whether regional or national, are supposed to be here. But over the last few hours that we've been here, they are not here. Could you tell us?
Yeah, I'm
talking about regional executives.
Regional executive. I'm the Eastern Regional Nasarawa coordinator, and I was here when you were interviewing him, and you were saying there were no top hierarchy. I don't really understand that. You see, we should be able to churn out the truth. When we go out on that tangent, it doesn't make the democracy the best
But we understand your General Secretary and Michael Ochrebefi were here. Is that the case?
That is the case.
So that is what we reported. We reported they were here, but they left. Is that not what I asked you? I asked him that. You didn't hear that question?
I didn't hear that.
So he knows and he's here. He will confirm to you that I mentioned that. And I told him we understand they left. Is there any reason why they left? He explained to me. And I have that on record. So I don't know where you are coming with this. So, but then let's go back to the issues. Where are we so far with regards to coalition?
Well, we are almost getting to the end of it, and we are still hopeful.
Okay. Your name is, please?
I'm Fadilu Fofana.
Okay, Fadilu Fofana. Earlier when I engaged your colleague, he says that even though the NDC were projecting themselves winners, it appears that what you have is quite the opposite. Is that still the case as we speak?
It is until we get to the end, we can't just conclude. We want to make sure that the EC declares the final results and we are good to go.
Okay.
It's an election.
Okay. So do you know what you've collected so far?
I think we are over 85% done with the couple. That's it. That's what we have now.
Okay, so on your system, this is what you've collected.
We are left with about six polling stations to go. That's what we have.
Okay, so Bernice, if I look at their system, this is Solomon Kwame Isumedu, and this is 46.54%. That's right. And over here you have 14,626 votes. Is that the case?
Yeah, that's the case.
Okay. So, and the NDC candidate, that is Bernard Bediako Bedu, has 53.22%, and he has 16,727 votes. This is from your system?
From our system. That's what we have so far. So right now, from our side, it's left with 6 polling stations to go. And until we are done, we can project that Bediako is the winner. Yeah, until we are done. So let's finish with everything before we can conclude with everything.
Okay, from what you have at the moment, do you think that there's any possibility that results could change?
Oh, anything can happen. Anything can happen. It's left with the 6 police stations, so let us conclude with it. And then we see the way forward.
Okay. Fadilu, let me come back to you. You are a regional executive. If this is done and Beidou is declared winner, are you assuring us that you sign the pink sheet?
Why not? We are doing this with the EC. So definitely, whatever the outcome is, this is democracy, like I told you. Why not sign? We will sign. That's why we are here. Until it's done, we are here. So we make sure that we do the right thing.
With the current standards, even per your system, did you anticipate this was how the results was going to look like?
No, not at all. Not at all. Per the trends, from what I have seen so far, the 2 candidates have their base. Beidou has his base from Takrasi. Solomon also has his base from Bodua here. But clearly you could see that Beidou had the support of his people, the Takrasi people, unlike the Bodia people. I can see that is, I'm speaking my
yeah, but because what you are saying, we noticed that at Bodia, with the 2 polling stations, especially at the bus terminal and then the lorry station, and including even Presby, some of their supporters were even saying that never in the history of the Akwatia that you could get even those number of votes. But unfortunately, what happened, because if you've performed in areas where you were not performing, what happened to the other areas which clearly were your stronghold, especially Apanaman, Kusi, and then Winchi, for example?
In the past, I think Takrasi is a NDC base already, and they had their man contesting in this election. So I think he had the home support to complement whatever they had there already. But with Bodia used to be for the NDC, and even though Solomon Asumedu performed well, but he couldn't get the numbers to match the support he needed from his people.
Is it not disappointing that your candidate is from Budia, but you didn't get a win, even though the votes actually showed up, but you didn't get a win in Budia?
That, like I said earlier, I think the Budia people are not ready
for a change.
Not for a change, for their own person to lead. Because I believe, per history, the Takrasi people had DCs, they had MP before. Budia had none. So I am with the view that the Budia people should have stood behind their own to vote massively, regardless of their political colors.
Thank you very much, Fadilu. We wish you all the best, and thank you for staying with us here. So, Benes, that is Fadilu. He is the Regional Nasara Coordinator for the MPP in the Eastern Region, and he has been explaining why the results are looking the way they are looking. So, let me try and get Rashid Tanko computer. Let me try and pull him. It appears there seems to be a latest development in the system, because the NDC projected that their candidate had won with some 54% and some few decimal points in there. But it appears now the situation has changed a bit. But we'll try and confirm that, and that is what they are confirming, or that is what they are conferring at the moment. So, so they want to cross-check from what the Electoral Commission officials have at the moment, and they are trying to ensure that that tallies with whatever they have. So it appears Rashid Tanko computer has his results in the on his phone, and he's trying to confirm that in the pink sheet, or official pink sheet of the Electoral Commission. Let me try and move closer and see what is happening. And from what I am seeing, it appears that it appears that Kwame Isumedu has actually won the elections, even though they have not declared at the moment. We are waiting. Bernard of the NDC. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
It's lost. NDC won with wide margin.
Is it the same 54?
Of course, we are even getting 54 plus.
By looks, I've seen 52.
My colleagues are enjoying it with it.
I've seen 52, Rashid Tanko computer, and you have 54.
Okay, 54.10.
No, but so it appears that is not the same.
There were two polling stations. That two polling stations, they are adding that. When they add it, I will get to this.
It will give us 54.10.
Yes, confirmed. That's what they are doing now.
So, meaning from 52, it will go to 54. That's what you are saying.
The two polling stations were not added. Now that they are adding it, to conclude. Yes.
Okay. So how long is this supposed to take, this confirmation?
It's finished. Because we have it. We are the two pink sheets. So that's why we're just entering.
So you must be excited, Rashid.
We are happy. We have won fairly. We've worked for it. That's what they are doing.
Okay, so tell me, earlier you didn't tell me. Now tell me what worked the magic for you. Not about, Abampai and all that, but what worked for you?
We have worked assiduously to get the people to understand that the better government that they need.
You've said that already, but we want to know the actual strategy.
Can I concentrate on this one after? Then we can talk about it.
Okay, Rashid Tanko computer reaffirming that they've won, and the final confirmation is being done, and very soon, when they are done, both agents of the MPP and the NDC would sign, and the official declaration will be made. We understand that the NDC parliamentary candidate has been informed about what is happening, or whatever has whatever has transpired here, given the fact that he is in the lead, even though the official declaration has not been made yet. So these are some of the members of the party who are here. Let me try and engage him and find out. Chief, can I speak to you briefly? I'm live on GH1 television. And I want to find out from you, what have you been observing so far? I know you are an agent of the MPP. Yes, can you tell us your name and what are your observations so far?
My name is Kofi Osejie, the Regional Secretary. We are still in the coalition process, but we are waiting for the EC to come up with a final declaration. So that's what we are here for.
Okay, so earlier we understand that you were here and you left.
I didn't leave. My colleagues were here. I have to pick up something. So I stepped out, and my 2 colleagues were here. So I don't know why the graphic reporter put out that story there, because we have 2 agents here, if you could see.
I'm sure it is because you were not physically present.
I am not the only agent here. Each party is supposed to present 2 agents. So I stepped out. There were issues with some of the ballot papers that the officers have put something in. So they need to break this.
You say they put something in?
They put their document in the box. So they need to break the seal.
But they were not foreign materials?
They were not foreign materials. Their documents, they put it in the seal, in the box. So they need to break the seal and reseal it. So I have to be there. Once the other 2 agents are here, I have to be there to make sure they break the seal, take their document, and reseal it.
So thanks for the clarification. So, per what other media houses have reported, it is not the case, that you left or you abandoned the...
We have not abandoned it. As you could see, I have 2 officers here. I stepped out to check on the ballot box that they need to break the seal and reseal it. So the report that we have abandoned the post is inaccurate.
Okay, but there's pressure, especially on social media, that one of your MPs, Michael Ocheribefe, should resign, given the fact that he told us exclusively that he will resign if the MPP does not take the Akwatia seat.
Let me synchronize with what Honorable Okujo talked about. He will resign if the current president pick a private jet or fly with a private jet. He hasn't resigned.
But we don't know that for sure, whether the president has flown with a private jet. But we are here in Akwatia for a by-election.
I think he has issued a communique apologizing to the public for his comments. So we'll take it like that.
But it appears the public are not taking it. So I've seen the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NDC, Rashid Tanko Computer, is the Deputy Director of IT and Elections at the NDC. They say that they are going to hold him to his words. He's an honorable member and he should do the honorable.
Oh, there are people who have said a lot of worse things that they are still in Parliament. The communication minister is even one of them. So I don't think he should be tied to whatever he said. It's a political comment that he made.
So you will not succumb to the pressure that is currently online that he should resign?
He will not succumb to the pressure. He has already issued a statement saying he's sorry for his comment. He apologized to the public for his comment. So I think the case should end there.
Okay. But let's come back to the results. I've seen on your machine with your agents that Kwame Esumedu is around 45 to 46%, and then the NDC's lawyer Bedu is around 52%. But the NDC, per their results, they also have about 54%. We are just hearing that there's about 2 polling stations to go. Do you think that there's going to be any magic for a turnaround?
That is the verdict of the constituents, and we will go by it.
So you believe that it is fair and square?
Oh, it is fairly fair and square. Yes, I believe in that.
So how do you intend to come back in 2028?
Oh, we have won the constituencies on several occasions, and NDC have won it on 3 occasions. So Akwatia seems to be having that pattern of a swing constituency. So we'll work on where we fell short and bounce back in 2028.
So is it the case that some of the executives of the NDC are saying that you did not win the seat in 2024?
It wasn't true. It wasn't true. The Supreme Court ruled on that matter. It is unfortunate that our MP died.
But the case was not finalized.
That's what I'm saying.
Akwatia Constituency Collation Center will be going back to Akwatia as we will try and gauge the security situation in the area, especially because the EC is preparing to announce the official figures any moment from now. Let me also acknowledge the acting Executive Secretary of the Small Arms Commission, Adam Bona, who's also a security analyst. We'll be speaking to him briefly. But before we do so, Ibrahim Al-Hassan is in the Akwatia Township monitoring how residents are feeling once the news has gone out. Our projection has been made clear that the NDC's Bernard Baidu has won the Akwatia by-election. IB, what is the situation now? Do you still have people on the streets celebrating?
Well, so as you can see and hear, is jubilation here in Akwatia. And of course, it's only one side is jubilating now. Earlier, when we came to you from Wenti, there were pockets of jubilation on both sides. Now, the reality has come on many people. And now it's the NDC members who are jubilating. I have some of them here who are excited about what has transpired. Let me find out from him. Why are you so happy? And was this something you were expecting?
Oh, Maniaji. Because now me share say NDC abayaba. Na bibia akọ for mama ye. Na say ye kwato aba wo opposition a. Ni papa ni ho. Ni maami ni ho. Na NDC abayaba bibia akọ for mama ye na. Na mo gide o mu say some mistake ni de Akwatia ya ye bi.
Lawyer Bedi akwa bay e de na opese wo ye ma Akwatia.
Oh, na me ye ma Akwatia ma ni say. Ya de mani Africa kra. Na me ya pa ni say obama memmabu no anya adwuma ye. Me wadi da so say lawyer aye secretary so. Me ya ni si chairman okumani. Me ji say lawyer. Ade bi opese ye bi obetumi aye. Ya so ebe bo na manaye. Nti ana ya de ho ato ama say lawyer brabia obaye so obaye Akwatia man bia no. Ya so ya tanachi. Me akwadna me ya chairman okumani.
Ade na ma mudi nkuni because na before so very your confidence on very.
Oh, ya de na ma ye di nkuni me say. Ya de ya gidi say ya papa dwa mama. Wa ma ni mu ato. Ana ya hwe eniama so aniama aba fom. Anti ya hwe ya ho twa atwa yen ya. Na abaye nwanwa say ombato abama before because omba say o ma no. Nti say de ya ho twa yen pa ti ehu say mu ye.
Aha. Say na ndije na.
Ndije na.
Oh, okay. Also bright. I don't know when you answer about this time. Ukra, yeah, oh boy, it is. I need you to free.
I need you to free NDC. NDC a special party. And NDC or Mujin or mine or Mubu Mabu. Essence or Muji or Bia, so we are why we are or Muji or Bia. And I wanted us once to a lawyer move. You wanted us so when Madame ladies, Yakun couldn't fear be bread. If you are never from a lawyer by Onyamba and Sumpuntu Ojume Koso. Impuntu Ojume Koso pa, and Yama Koso, and Yama Ketua. Until one Musa lawyer, dear Wafa. Nursing training, nursing training school. 50%. And no. Yama Benya Jumaya, Miamijina, Mewababa, you Benya Jumaya, Miankasa Menya Jumaya, and Yama Koso Yaniaji. Lawyers who ni papa, and internet in the Virginia. Then was a lawyer that boy. And just a time I hear Okoyo buy now Kufuado Tisuno Yankano Yanaheno, and they are buying a wasso. In internet, Jinas on a two Abama lawyer, and Mr. Lawyer, so my and see form that. Yen Mr. Lawyer, my and son, see form that. And internet Yaniaji.
Anadi misiye na ushe nyuma ya papa John Dramani Mahama ayano Akwatia hanum no ebruja if you buy a crampo onya 1 year crapo no ushe contest no ma no money light wetuma confession mo light na misi me no kase contest no oba bebie nyuma no diamond factory no ye ba bebie ama Akwatia fo nyina youth na anya eduma anya aye misi me no kase nyina no nursing training allowance 50% a year free hanum me no kase chama unto me omo awia Ghana sika nyina ya ba betu omo baako me no kase no youth no ebre. This is the time we are calling for our father John Dramani Mahama and our father Bernard Nyaku to make sure Bernard Bediako, and we know they will deliver successful for Akwatia people to enjoy.
Okay, let me tell you this.
Megaze Kmensa, Mekasafu Kumani, Udu Kumania, Ope Company, Kasiapa, earlier, GOPDC. Ye Wunia Company and Penifoma Yamaya, but lawyer Niabekasa said, if you are quite a quiet, do Kumanino. Oni baba jamane ye Etienne ye jelo ye nim se yakoko den
obre
ye de wan to am lawyer hwe mi wa me digira abre me kwela me mami enu awie SS minim so la ba be ye bia ma me
so mo go free ese
omo ye bi ma pre me titi mi widiem me dem minim say lawyer ba no obaye bia ma kumani man na family executive me fi kumani me ye bi
so mami enu so omo enjoy free ese na so omo kwa kufa do free ese
omo kwa kufa do omo kwa kufa do ma titi mi bo no enye easy sa enye easy papa
okay me kakra metimi aka kire akwatiafo ni se omaya de se omatimi atusu lawyer Bernard Nyako as their MP ebi se enne ohwe Ghana His Excellency John Dramani Mahama one the President of the Republic na ukotusu obia wonye obia obeno a emputu ojuana openo ebe de se obenya e dia ba constituency nje na omatimi lawyer Bernard Nyako asomo MP no mejiri se enne woni ma de bia eha akwatiafo most special obo emputu juma akwatia se no maka chire pa omo akwan omo schools omo roads enne His Excellency John Dramani Mahama oba yi the project ade aka wa kwan ombe no ma sha se omo yakwatia kwan se o matimi ayi lawyer no mejiri se lawyer so be pushi ama His Excellency John Dramani Mahama atima mo mo kwan bebre e dia mo de atosumie no galamse ana man ejuma omo no kromo asei eni na ejuma titire omo ho omo kwan bebre be ni asem omo ka so omo pese nya omo ina no se president me nya to me na obetime create the link between the people and the money companies omo sa constituency no through the mining companies they can build jobs for the people, they can create development for the people, they can create entrepreneurship, they can even support them with some capital as startup. Celebrate constituency na tima ejuma. Me this is a lawyer, onuso a lawyer woni me mremu. Onuso ko emrase djuma mfemu a. Ade bia ade mputu be edeba constituency no. Me this obehwe mpanimfo ministers woni government appointees o ma be so na se no. Me this say the wasi agidi no ko omo no so ko bo omo punu mu a se me pewe mu no omehwe abie kwa na ma matimi asem wona ma no edo
me finally on se na woka
me ka kan woka no se eda obi bia se wetimi ato abana ma lawyer na ba oben today ye gidi se on fire no ya na se ye nsa enfensi for because ye hwede anything e ba kakle yo mo ba de o mo ba ye ya e se lawyer de urban so nso betimi aba ba ye bi sa ama ye enti na ye to man no ye do
na wo gidi se mo betimi DPT MPP
ye wo gidi sa
enti na wo gidi se mo betimi DPT MPP
oh me party am wa ye NDC enti me mo bi am me chenyi me ma adwen ana lawyer no so ye kulum na ofli achimta class enti na me to man no me se ebekwa abonti mu de
Thank you very much. And so, Sewa, yes, there you have it. Jubilant supporters of the NDC here. There's a pub behind them, and so they have music, right?
That's Ibrahim Al-Hassan, our colleague who has been on the ground for the past 2-3 days in the Akwatia constituency, monitoring events. Let's now cross over and speak with the Executive Director of the Small Arms Commission, Dr. Adam Bona. Doc, thank you very much for your time. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Sewa,
Doc,
and your viewers.
Right, thank you for joining. Doc, you monitored today's elections. What are your thoughts on the security arrangements? The police said that they were going to ensure that there was no trouble. Have they delivered?
Well, yes, the police largely have delivered excellently. I believe the security situation or the issues to do with security started taking place way before today. You know that some recce, when I say reconnaissance exercise took place there with a good number of police officers to test the ground and to make sure there were a lot of stop and search. My commission issued a warning to those who could be firearm bearers who might want to go there with firearms. or go there with tasers and call them pepper sprays and the rest, not to do that, because that would be infringing upon the dictates of our democracy. Some people have been arrested and largely are going to be prosecuted. But I will say D-Day today has been very good, except some isolated incidents of, some people trying to take off some posters. And I think I saw another confrontation between, the opposition, the vice chairman, and my big brother, Sofo Azoka. But apart from that, I think it's largely been peaceful. It's largely been good, and another way of celebrating our democracy and saying that we can do it better and continue to do it better. I think for some time, except recently in Abilikuma, where by-election became confrontational, for some time the police have gotten by-elections to be peaceful. You can talk about Kumewu to Asen, and the others, including even 2024 general elections. It's been very peaceful. So let me also use this occasion to, in advance, congratulate, Lawyer Bedu for information I have gathered indicates he's won by a very large margin. So congratulate him, and better luck for the MPP candidates. And so for me, it's been very good. And it was obvious, if you ask me, because then if you look at from January up to date, how the economy has evolved, how things have changed, and the way things have gone. Obviously, anyone wanting further development in your community, this would be the only way you would want to vote, except you decide that you don't want development. But if you do, then you would go to Akwatia as they did today and vote a certain direction because you are expecting development to come. Vote, and then the ballots are counted, and then your candidate would win. And obviously, Lawyer Bedu was going to win, and he won. So I would say kudos to the IGP Yohonu and his team for ensuring that today's by-election, even though we are waiting for the Electoral Commission to announce officially who has won, I would say that I don't know who has won the elections today.
Right, Dr. Bona, and Ben is here. We are expecting that official declaration to be made in a bit. But unfortunately for us today, we have not been receiving periodic updates from the police service as an institution. We've been observing a few incidents on the ground, some which you have just made reference to. I'd just like for you to help us if you have any more details about the arrests you say have been made. It's the first time we are hearing this, and we've been sitting here and we haven't received any confirmation of same. Are you able to share details with us about which persons have been arrested and for what exactly?
No, I'm talking about previous arrests that were made regarding those who attempted to enter into the red zone, the Akwatia, the Akwatia area carrying firearms and ammunitions and the rest. But at least I am aware that some person was arrested today, entering into some altercation when some people from the opposition MPP attempted to remove something that looked like posters. And so the police accosted the person and took the person away. So at least that definitely your media would have reported. Right. But apart from that, I do not know of anyone who would have been arrested by the police today, but I'm sure, as you asked, the periodic updates. Of course, Akwatia itself has not been too peaceful when it comes. It's one of the flashpoints. Anyone who understands security is one of the flashpoints, and so the police, I'm sure, needed to do it right and then report to us. And so let's wait. I'm sure they'll put their report together, hopefully by tomorrow or latest, call it Thursday, Friday. We'll receive an update from them, from their PR section, informing us what has taken place, what took place today.
All right. You also made reference to that scuffle or altercation between the NPP and NDC vice chairpersons. We saw some physical assault. We also heard the same NDC vice chairperson, Sofo Azoka, make statements to the effect that the minority leader, Apenyo Marking, is lucky he didn't meet him in person when the alleged removal of posters were happening, and that if that had happened, there would have been a by-election in Apenyo Marking's constituency. The NPP's vice chairman, who he touched, says he has made a complaint to the police. What should happen? We've been having that discussion, Sewa, myself, and our guest in studio, Michael Dunyina Mensah, who is the Executive Director of the Center for Public Opinion and Awareness. And he's of the view that the police should have made arrests by now, and that when such incidents happen in the presence of the police, they need not necessarily wait for a report. What are your thoughts?
No, security doesn't work that way, unfortunately. You see, you don't arrest a crowd. In crowd management, in security, you don't arrest a crowd.
No, sorry to interject, Doc.
Once you can identify,
Doc, this was not. Doc, please, if you can hear me and allow me, please. This was not a crowd. This was a man making a statement. This was a man and another man engaged in an altercation, and one placing his hand on the other.
Okay, so I wanted to the name Abu Baidu, yes. You see, it is the same thing. You are talking about who doesn't know Sofo Azoka. I mean, we all know him. Sofo Azoka, I mean, he's not a young man. We all know him, and we know he has large following. You don't go and say Sofo Azoka, someone like Sofo Azoka had exchange of words with someone, or he touched someone on the person's shoulder or the person's chest, and so you would arrest him there and there. I mean, no. I mean, I don't want to, unless you want to risk. You want to risk the entire elections. If you want to risk the entire elections, you go ahead and do it. But mine is that, yes, I mean, these are two vice chairmen who probably politically things are, up in the air. They are not happy with one another, and then exchange of words, one touch the other, and then the other says, I've made a report. We will have to leave it with the police, for the police to investigate to see whether the one who made the charge, the one who actually reported the case, want to press charges or not. But I want to then come back to the fact that if there and there the police attempted to do anything, either arrest any of the feuding parties, they would have marked the beauty of the process. And so usually it helps when you can identify persons who are involved in some of these things, and you don't have to effect an arrest immediately. If the need be, you then would invite them to come, and if you want to put them under any arrest, or you want to caution them through statement and all that, you do that. But then to arrest them there and there, usually you see the police during demonstrations, and someone does something, and you would have to do a lot of risk assessment. If you arrested one person and you have 1,000 people charging on you, do you have that capacity to stop them? Or you allow it to, calm tension, and then later you get those people you want to arrested. And so for me, I will not fault the police for not effecting an arrest there and there. No, it doesn't. It's not as simple as you would think. If you've been, those of us who understand these things will tell you that it is not very simple, because the police is there, do an arrest. Recently, during the Ablikuma elections, there were some persons were cited for being involved in one incident or the other. The police there and there did not arrest them. But we all know the issue ended up in court, and they were convicted to a fine, and they paid. If the police had attempted maybe arresting them, at that point, you can identify them. If you attempted arresting them, either the police will go home with bruises, firearms, there will be, warning shots, and some people could be maimed. I mean, you know what happened in Dra?
Right.
Where, people, angry demonstrators throwing stones, the military officers went on their knees and shot. The police is not trained to behave that way. I'm not saying the military is trained to behave that, but what I'm trying to say is that the police is trained to manage these type of confrontations. And so I would have been very surprised. In fact, very, very surprised if this incident I saw, you're talking about none other than so far as okay. I'm not saying it's above the law, but you won't say in an election like that, high tension election like that, he's had exchanges with someone. Then you want to put him under arrest there and then. Come on, no, you can't do that. No serious police officer or security person will do that. You can identify Sofo Azoka. I don't think Sofo Azoka has anywhere to go. If you invited him tomorrow, he would come. And so why would you risk whatever you are there to do? Why would you want to risk it? Arresting Sofo Azoka and then whatever elections you are going to have. No, I think it wouldn't have been proper to arrest him there and there. It is too simple to say arrest. It's not that easy, no.
All right, Doctor, finally, based on what you've said, which has to do with assessing the situation and taking a decision, in your words, right for the moment, what should we be seeing about that particular incident and the comment you made about the minority leader? What kind of action should we see the police taking in the coming days?
No, I believe that the police, the police, we've known them yesterday, and we won't say we will not know them tomorrow. I'm expecting that the police will put their report together. They would call Sofo Azoka. They would invite him. Usually that's what they would do. They would invite the vice chairman of the MPP. They would invite him to, and then listen to them, coupled with whatever images they captured, and then put the pieces together. And that would help their investigations. If there is a need for them to proceed further, they will do that. If they decide that, well, you know what, sometimes these things happen. So let go.
Doc, sorry I have to interject. We need to cross over to the collation center now. The official results are being declared.
The declaration will be made. So the returning officer is going to declare what will declare. His name is Eric Jemfi Owusu. He is the returning officer for the Akwatia by-election, and he's ready to declare the results.
Officers from the Electoral Commission, security, here present, the media, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. By the grace of God, we are done collating the parliamentary results of Akwatia constituency by-election. Here are the vote cast. Solomon Asumedu had 15,235 votes. Bernard Bediakun Bedu of NDC had 18,199. Ousu Pat had 82 votes. I repeat, Asumedu Solomon, NPP, had 15,235. Bernard Bediakun Bedu, NDC, had 18,100. Had 82 votes. Total valid votes 33,500. Total rejected ballots, 303. Total vote casts, 33,819. With the figures mentioned so far, Director, with your permission, I, Eric Osu-Jemfi, the returning officer of Akwatia constituency, declare Bernard Bediaku Bedu as the parliamentary candidate elect, MP elect for Akwatia constituency. Thank you very much.
So the returning officer declaring the results. So now let's listen to the elects in the person of lawyer Beidu, who has triumphed over his opponent in the elections.
Okay, so yes, Ebenezer, this is how far the good Lord has brought us. You have said it all. The confidence has always been there. It is not just mere confidence out of nothing. It was born out of the good work we had done. After engaging the people, we read their reaction towards the message we gave them. And we saw that it had really imbibed. They gave us a hope, some hope of a sort, which hope has resulted to what we see today. I mean, we've always been very confident. I told you, I don't know whether I told you guys that we've been in this game for a while. If you are in it and you are losing, you will know, except maybe if you don't want to be honest yourself. I told you what we were working out at that moment I spoke to was with regards to the gap. But as for the win, what are we witnessing? We've won.
Okay, so do you think that...
We had a lot in the lead up to this election. The NPP spoke quite greatly. At some point in time, the Vice President made certain claims. He said we shouldn't have been in the race, amongst many other things. When you were hearing all of this, what was going through your mind at that time?
For me, I've always said that, you see, when you are going to such contests, there are a lot of things you will hear. But I don't focus on tangentials. The focus is on the main ball. My focus is to have my message delivered, the people accept it, and then they take it up and work to make sure victory is delivered. Indeed, you see, some of these comments, if you are not careful, you'll be swayed by them, and then you go outside the main target, and then be dealing with, well, let me put it this way, unnecessary stuff. Because, you see, I shouldn't have been in the race as in what? I mean, that I was disqualified, or it was an illegality on my part or what. And so we've gone past that stage. Elections were held. We have the Sorry? Development. We've always said that, you see, Akwatia's name has always been with regards to mining. You can't take away the mining, okay? We only have to do it lawfully. That's what we're going to work on. Where we are now is a GCD property. Hitherto, just before John Dramani Mahama came to power, the place was in darkness. If you recall, we did the same coalition here, and we had to put on some solar panels and all, lamps and all that. Today, and it wasn't because of the by-elections. It was even done before. Today, we have electricity. It is the first step towards getting GCD back on track, which can employ thousands of people. There are other things we are looking at. Essentially, it is about development, and we will make sure we deliver. Yes, we've made came from the president. Of course, it's a central government policy, and we need to remind. We would have an opportunity to it is a clear mandate, and we would not take it for granted. We will make sure we give them the best of representation.
That is the candidate Rashid Anko. The projection was 53. Is that what you got?
Well, that was what the...
Right, so what we've been waiting for has finally been done. And it's 10 o'clock. The EC has finally made its declaration. That was just about more than an hour after we projected. We were educated a bit on the process. And also, okay, before we wrap up in the studio, thank you so much, Dr. Bona. We appreciate your presence. We'll continue with our interaction and engagements with you in subsequent bulletins. If you have any final words, we'll just take it and wrap up shortly.
Is that I think, politicians should start paying attention to data, because then if you look at the work of Musa Dankwa, the Global Info Analytics, the work they do, and the way sometimes some section of our community, so some politicians try to denigrate them. The facts are there, and the figures are there to speak for themselves. And so I think that these are scientific polls. They usually do surveys they conduct, and therefore let's start respecting, research such as this. And then kudos to the once again, lawyer Beidou for winning. We all knew he was going to win, but it wasn't going to come easy. Kudos to him and the police themselves and everybody who took part in today's by-elections. I think it's another win for the country. Better luck next time to the MPP candidate and the MPP themselves. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much for your time. That's Dr. Adam Bona. He is the Acting Executive Secretary of the Small Arms Commission. So a day it has been, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Thank you very much to all the guests that came through on the show and to the entire production team. We projected it was accurate, and the declaration has been made. Michael Donyina Mensah, the Executive Director of Center for Public Opinion and Awareness, thank you so much. You came in the morning and you came back to join us. We are grateful. But before you go, any final words?
I mean, you've all said it all. We are happy that it ended this way. This is at least a step further beyond Ablekuma and this. And so we are hoping that we will keep up with this and improve with our electoral process.
All right. Right, Sewa. And thank you too for keeping faith with us. Those of you who joined on Facebook, on YouTube, on X. We are grateful that you can make time to join the Election Hub. And those of you who listen on radio as well, we are grateful for your time.
And thanks to our production team, all the guys, the directors. Thank you guys. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow morning. The team will be here with the morning show.